friggin' 5-10. 45-10. That is what transpired last night on the floor on a Friday night in the WNBA. An absolute friggin' masterclass put on by number 22, Caitlin Clark. I didn't even know if I was going to pop on this Saturday morning edition at On Cue. Rich Quinones here. I had no idea. We did the overnights, lack of sleep, calling a lot of games, running around all over the place, disheveled here, disheveled there. 45-10. 45-10. Now you tell me, how in the world are people going to come out today and absolutely hate that performance? Absolutely rip, criticize, have something negative to say about that performance last night by the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark, against a young, still trying to figure it out, how to win Seattle squad. I think we can all agree. But last night was just the definition of what we have been, and many others that are objective, okay, that aren't clowns, but are objective, have been saying when it comes to this league, this sport, and this player. And it's pretty apparent. It's pretty apparent when you let her play her game. When she's out on the floor doing what she does best, she is the best player in the league. She is hands down the best player in the league. And I don't even want to hear, don't come at me today. Don't sit there and call it the recency bias. We're not having it today. We're not having it today. We're not, because even some of these jackass reporters last night, you have to give credit where credit is due. You have to give credit where credit is due. And that's the problem. We never want to give credit in sports. We never want to look at an athlete and really just take it and encapsulate their performance. We never want to appreciate what the athlete is doing, because everyone's got to figure out a way to just piss, whine, and complain and nitpick and nitpick and nitpick. And here you go. You took too many shots. Well, you had a turnover here and there. Let me tell you something last night. In a game in which Indiana led by as many as 17 points and almost coughed up the lead, because, again, their defense stinks and coaching malpractice, because we're always seeing it in this league, are we not? We're always seeing it. Seattle is a young team that doesn't know how to close, but they've got some ball players. Their center is a beast, and they've got guards, and they're going to be a handful going forward. So you take care of those teams. But in the biggest moments, when the lights shine the most, when the lights shine the brightest, that is when the generational players, that is when the talented players, that is when the faces of the franchise, the faces of the league, the cornerstones, the building blocks, that's when they friggin' step up. And we saw it last night. And yes, you got to give the flowers to Mitchell. She had a fantastic game. I know she shot a lot. I know she missed a three, and coming back on transition, that's when Caitlin Clark made the defensive play of the game. I don't want to hear any of the nonsense. It was a friggin' foul. Go argue with somebody else on that crap. Please, just stop. Just stop. And then when you needed the dagger, she drills the three. She drills the dagger. And all you need to do is give this kid a breath of space. That's it. And she's going to do the rest. The other day I sat on the show and I said she was a friggin' ticking time bomb. I didn't think she was going to explode in that way for 45-10. So pardon me if I told you to don't play the player prop. Sorry, guys, because I see already some of you guys are getting in. But last night was another example. When you don't have coaching malpractice and you understand exactly what you have in a player, you let them go out there and do what they do best. It's simple. It's absolutely simple. You don't need to rewrite the history books. You don't need to rewrite history. It's simple. You go out there and you let this kid do what she does best. Create spacing on the floor, go to the bucket, the court vision, the court acumen, the IQ, and let her be great. Is that so hard? Let her be great. But we want to basically hamstring some of these players. We want to sit there for spite and not allow the player to go off because we're playing favorites. And I understand Boston wasn't available last night, and you finally got some synergy. You finally got some synergy with her and Mitchell on the floor. But come on, man. How can you sit here today? That's why I cannot take some of these absolute goofballs out there when you have a player that has scores a career high, franchise best 45 friggin' points. She's the first player in WNBA history to have 40 points, 10 assists in a game. She did it in 29 friggin' minutes. 29 minutes. You need to let her cook. You need to let her play her game. Egos aside, you want to win basketball games? Here, this is how it's done. I mean, come on. What are we doing here? And then you get these idiots, which you know I hate saying that word, these jackass, these clowns that sit there and they still want to be critical of the performance. Well, she got to the line X amount of times. Well, how many times did she get to the line late? How many times was she legitimately fouled? You know, I made a joke. I tweeted it out. Hey, congratulations, Silver. You know, the conversation helped, right? The refs weren't in the bag last night. They almost blew a 17-point lead. You need to appreciate greatness for what it is. And I'll tell you this, man. I'm extremely happy for her. And you can still be critical overall. Listen, I was critical of her the other day. I didn't like the theatrics. I didn't like the tantrum. I didn't like it. But I also said, you know what's going to happen? Boom. Boom, boom, boom. I'm telling you right now, people are going to come out and they're going to look at her. They're going to look at the stat line. They're going to look at the performance. They're going to sit there and say, how many free throws? Look at the team you played. They were a 6-win team. They were 20 lost. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. When you sit there and you check your ego to the side as a head coach and you realize you've got a generational player and you allow her to do what she does best. She is the best pure passer in the league. Go debate Mama. Go debate somebody else. She is the best pure passer in the league, hands down. And you've got all, that's what I'm saying. I cannot for the life of me. If this kid plays a couple more minutes and a couple shots go her way and a couple more assists, she has 50 and 15. She has 50 and 15. So for everyone that's sitting there who's been crapping on her, who's been basically roasting her, who's been lambasting her, that just can't wait to sit there. You know, no disrespect to these other players. And by the way, Angel Reese was going off last night. But don't, you know, this crap that I see on what some of these talking heads on YouTube, some of these so-called, you know, ball knows ball, hoop experts sitting there saying, hey, here we go. You know, Paige is everything we saw Caitlin Clark. Shut up. Nobody wants to hear from you today. Shut up. Jason Whitlock, go in a friggin' hole. Go be Christian-like with your nonsense. Go be Christian-like with your friggin' nonsense and that crap. It's ridiculous. And I'm going to get to one of the reporters, too. Because afterwards, it just shows you no matter what this kid does, no matter what type of performance she has, people are still going to shit on her. Hence me saying the other day, at this point, you should not care what anyone thinks. That was a gut check win last night for them. And it was good to see Mitchell and Clark on the same page. Mitchell got hers. And I love the fact, you know, her vision, Clark's vision last night, if you really watched this game, and I know you guys did, because I was texting people left and right. And by the way, shout out to my guys from Livewire for having me on Livewire Sports. I enjoyed it thoroughly last night. Thank you so much. I really had a fun time. Really did. We broke down a lot of what's going on with this franchise, with this league, with this team, with the head coach, with the GM, and said player. Now, I don't want to get too carried away because it is one game. It is one game, but it's good to see the players mesh. And I understand Seattle's a young team. I understand Seattle doesn't know how to close. I totally get that. That's part of the growing process. That girl Malanga is a friggin' beast. I mean, she is, oh my God, around the rim. Oh, what a wonderful player, man. Johnson's a good player. Melbourne's a good player. Seattle's going to be a tough out going forward. But last night, this is the perfect scenario, okay? The perfect scenario. You have Mitchell drop 30 and 34 minutes. So again, late in the game, what did White want to do? I didn't really agree with it. You know, you're making the timeout, you're calling timeout, you're burning a timeout. You want to make the defensive switch. You needed rim protectors. You need a little more interior defense. I understand that. A little more spacing on the floor. You thought maybe Caitlin Clark was going to be a defensive liability, but when she needed to make the biggest play of the game, she did. And then she earns the right to take that shot late, to go ahead three. She earns the right. She earns the right. And Seattle showed you they're a young team because you try to get that 2-for-1 late, you burn too much clock. But last night was a great example of 11 of 18, 13 of 25, 3 of 8 from Mitchell from beyond the arc, 6 of 10. So you're combined 9 of 18. Your big horses, right? 50% from the charity stripe. You shoot pretty much 43 overalls a game, 50% from the floor, which is unheard of. And they did a much better job of not turning the basketball over. Okay? Clark's going to have hers because of her style of play, and sometimes players are not ready for the pass. But there was several plays in that game which tell me, okay, that at the end of the day, this is why she is a special player. And get in early and often, Saturday edition on cue. Rich Quinones here. I had to come on today after 45 and 10 when I was telling you that she was going to be a ticking time bomb, and she explodes last night. I had to do it. I had to. I'm going to get to your comments in a second. Also, let me know where you're commenting from. But here's the coup de grace. If you're going to defend her, it's like pick and choose, because it could be a slow death. Pick and choose. Because if you're going to drop out on the perimeter and try to just basically cut off the lane, cut off the passing lane, cut off the baseline, you're taking a shot where what? She can blow right by you. There was a scenario where I think the defender of the Seattle pulled out last night. And what did Clark do? The presence of mind, little stutter, stagger step, little shake and bake, blows right by her, sucks in the defense, and then drops off an absolutely brilliant dime. Brilliant dime. And last night is what you wanted to see. It's what you wanted to see, and I'm going to tell you why on so many levels. Because for one day, it shuts up a lot of the critics. It shuts up a lot of the haters and the trolls out there. It also takes the spotlight, the negative spotlight, which has been going on far too long for this league, this team, and this player. So for one night, enjoy it. That's why when you go on social media today and you see some of these nitwit clowns sitting there, well, she shot the ball, she got to the line, 90, she shot. Man, shut up. Nobody wants to hear that. Ball appreciates ball. Ball knows ball. And last night, that was a masterclass. And I don't care if Seattle's a bad basketball team. I don't. They're a young team. They're going to figure out how to close. But that's a good sign last night if you're a Fever fan and if you're a Hoops fan and WNBA fan, because she showed you back. I'm fine. I'm not coming out of the game in the fourth quarter. That's when I said the other day, you saw the player last night play with what? Passion, energy, joy. It's not zapped, because the coach has to understand what the hell she has in front of her. What she has in front of her. Let her play her game. And again, it's not always about the stat line, but your chances of having wins, generating wins, making a deep run in the playoffs, whether they decide to move or not in the trade deadline, which we've talked about, which I still believe at the end of the day, Indiana's not the right fit for her because of this head coach and this GM and the organization. But for one night, you kind of turn back the clock and you sit there and you say to yourself, this is why she's a generational talent. This is why she's the best player in the league. And this is no disrespect to any of these players, but people were so fast. This is the other thing I can't stand. People were so fast to write her off. All of a sudden, I'm saying, well, she's going to have Larry Bird back issues from these so-called friggin' experts. Yeah, you don't want her to play banged up, but she's telling you right there, man, she's a friggin' beast. She's a warrior. That's what you want. She's everything that you want in a superstar athlete. She's everything you want. Have I been critical of her? Yeah, sometimes I have been. Absolutely. But I appreciate the game. I appreciate what she means to the game. I don't like when she has her little hissy fits. And I tell you why I don't like that. Because she's already under the microscope. So no matter what she does, she has to be perfect. And last night, you can't get any better than that. 45 and 10, taking over the game when you need to after that defense blows another 17-point lead, which, again, they're going to have to make a move. They're going to have to upgrade. They need better perimeter defenders, and they got to clog the middle more. So they're probably going to do something trade-wise. Connie chimes in. Appreciate that. Let me know where you guys are chiming in from as well. White's answer after the game, I looked down. Oh, shit, she had 45. Yeah, I mean, imagine. She's not going to have that every game. But last night, she reminded people, I'm 24. I'm not going anywhere. Right? Back is fine. None of this minutes restriction. I don't even need to deal with that crap. I don't care if it's against a bad basketball team. Like, don't sit there. I don't want to hear, do it against one of the great defense. Man, I don't want to hear that today. You are a clown. Oh, go out and do that against the Lynx. Oh, go do that against the Aces. Oh, go do that against Golden State. Man, take it somewhere else today because all you're doing is embarrassing yourself. So, Logic, Leroy, Joe, Joe D, Sally Boy, where are you friggin' today? The Crickets, they're not coming out because it's just crickets. Nobody wants to come out when they're wrong. Nobody wants to give credit when their credit is due. Is it so hard to just give this kid her flowers? And oh, by the way, Angel Reese last night, phenomenal. Guys were killing me the other day saying that she was trash. I'm like, really? Really? She's averaging a double-double. Okay. Now I'm not going to get into the other stuff because the people are sitting there saying she's peddling this conspiracy, this racist. I'm not even going to get in that crap. Appreciate just today. Appreciate the talent. Appreciate what we saw on the floor, please. That's all I'm asking. It's the only reason I wanted to come on today. She's been on fire, Angel Reese. Her last 3 games, I think, 18, 11, and 2? She's averaging 21 and 12. She's been unbelievable. There's talent in this league. If it's cultivated the right way, there's talent in this league. Whether it's Wilson, whether it's Buck, there's talent in this league. That's why I get so passionate and animated and pissed off when I see how this league is being run. When I see it's like a friggin' circus. Brian chimes in. Wasn't it great to see she was actually able to play free? That's what it's all about, brother. Just living free, man. Hoop like we all want to see. That's why we started watching in the first place. That's it. To be young and free. Isn't that a song, right? Young, wild, and free. Kelsey got hers last night too, man. Jeff chimes in. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. I know, right? I saw that. Is that updated? I didn't see on their X account if they updated that. Oh, man. I just let this kid play. Please do yourself a solid. Let her play. She'll probably go out and have 30-something? Let me see what they if they list it. 29 minutes. She wasn't coming out last night. She was not going to come out last night. And you know what? Nor should she. Late, I understand, and that's why I got on Stephanie White. You also have to have a little more confidence that her defense is also going to come around. Yeah, sometimes she doesn't know when to rotate and slide, and sometimes, quicker guards can kind of blow by her. But, you live with that if you slide over and you have weak side help and you can clog the middle. And obviously, it opened things up last night, even with the loss and not being able to have Boston available. But just appreciate it, man, because there's going to be days where you're going to look back as sports fans. It's like when you watch, a quarterback throw for 500 yards. It's a special day, right? 30 of 38, 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. A running back goes for over 200 yards. Like, there's special moments. 5 points, 10 assists, not to mention 2 blocks and 4 steals. I mean, that's a hell of a stat line, man. That's a hell of a stat line. Just sit back and appreciate it. You don't need to nitpick. You don't need to nitpick. Period. The page lovers are saying that Page scored 44 without 19 shots. There are still haters. Man, here's the thing, D-Boy, and I always appreciate you, brother. People, I'm going to play the clip in a second for you guys, and I'm going to show you. I am going to show you exactly. It doesn't matter. She can have 100 points, and you're still going to have haters. The league itself has caused this. The commissioner has caused this. Because now you've got some of these jackass reporters that again, for the life of them, have no idea what the hell they're watching and what the hell they're talking about. Nitpickers will never give the credit she deserves. Why can't we all just 100%, 100%. I caught 4 games last night overseas. I did 2.5 hours yesterday. I did Destin FM. I did my scoreboard updates. I turned around. I hung out with the great crew from last night. We did the spot on Livewire, which was phenomenal. Livewire over an hour. And then I said I had like 3 games overseas overnight to call back to back to back. Got up, did about an hour plus workout, took care of little Kiki. We did the walk. We're dealing with the smoke. We're dealing with the fog. Here we go. My head's all disheveled, D-boy. My hair's all over the place. And I was like, I got to come on today. 45 and 10. You kidding me? I got to come on. I got to give love. I got to hand out the flowers. I have to. Have to. And you know the funny thing is, did anyone else see this last night? I almost felt like Stephanie White wanted to pull her out of the game. There you go. Thank you. She She won. You're right. I felt that last night. She's like, oh man, I can't have her go for 50. Come on. Page 44 with no foul shots means she's not being guarded. Listen, again. The bottom line is this. There's great players in the league. It's like a big piece of cake, a big piece of pie, or a pie. Can't we all just enjoy little slices and just enjoy the moment? Paige is a great player. I think Angel Reese, I don't, look, I know people don't like her for some of the stuff that comes out of her mouth, and she's a little bit of a shit stirrer, but you have to appreciate she's starting to come into her own. And she's a hell of a rebounder. And she's learning how to play around the rim. And the one thing about Caitlin Clark, that if you watched last night with the court vision, making the right basketball pass, that's innate. You can't teach that. So when you watch these kids in high school and then college, and then they blossom in the pros, if you slow down the game, when you draw that defender and the defender's like, oh shit, what's going to happen right now? Caitlin Clark, she's playing chess. Everyone else is playing checkers. She's got her eyes up. She's thinking, all right, swing it, boom, kick it, coffin corner. Someone's going to be open. Dribble drive. They all converge, congestion. And that's a sign of a young team, Seattle, because they didn't understand how to defend. And they didn't understand how to close. And look, I think they came back from 17 down because of the lapse, the defensive lapse by Indiana. That's why I think no matter what, they're going to have to do something defensively around the trade deadline. They're going to have to, if they want to be considered a contender. But the court vision is on another level. People don't appreciate, we get sucked into stats. But if you watch enough basketball, you can appreciate when a guard, a pure guard, a point guard, I want to distribute first. Now, she can put the ball on the floor and go right to the basket. But a pure point guard, the IQ, the court vision, to understand, here's the ball placement, bounce pass, chest pass, here's the cutter. I would have actually liked to have saw Mitchell cut a lot more last night because it was working for him. But Clark is deceptive when she puts it on the floor. She already knows in her mind where she's going. She already knows. Now, force me to I'm blowing right by you. I can put a crossover and put you on the left. And then what happens? After I'm breaking ankles, quick release. Every moment on the floor. She's got her spots on the floor. And her teammates understand that. You got to get the ball to her fast. Boom, 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 boom. You can't teach that. You can't. She's very hard to defend. Plus, she's got the quick release. Now you get the spacing on the floor. Now you can basically go inside out. If they're going down on the low block, if you're commanding that double team, they swing it, they kick it, you're going to get wide open looks. It's not rocket science. It isn't. I mean, I feel as though half of us can sit there on the bench and coach this team better than Stephanie White because she already has that agenda in her mind. Imagine now, second half of the season after the All-Star break, imagine if Clark goes on this run. She goes on this run where 6, 7 straight games, 8 games, she's got 30 and 10. She's like really cooking right now. She's like really cooking, right? Because and the reason I bring it up, now all of a sudden, her odds, when you talk about MVP conversation, what happens? They start to shorten. So obviously, we can agree Wilson is the heavy, Aja Wilson is the heavy betting favorite right now. She's been phenomenal. She's got short odds, minus 330. And then you got buckets, right? And then you got Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark moved up a little bit, plus 600 to 700. If she starts to have this run, right? Run. You watch these odds, man, and then watch. From an entertainment standpoint, it's great if this team is winning and you're still getting eyeballs, but it's going to be fascinating to watch the odds and how she is coached going forward if they're winning, because I still believe no matter what in the second half, second half of the season, mind you, and let me know what you guys think. And girls, there's going to be the minutes restriction BS. It's not going to go away. Wilson right now is averaging 25, 9, and 3. She's unbelievable. She couple blocks. She's shooting 52% from the floor, 40 from 3. I mean, this is why she is basically the favorite to win her 5th MVP. She's a fantastic player. But as you guys know, as I know, just like in the NBA, man, Players get banged up, a little bit of rest, team struggles a little bit, you have a couple off nights, then all of a sudden, the players behind the pack, they start to sneak up. Now, Paige can turn around. She's got her 24-6. I mean, she's a phenomenal player. She can have a spurt. She can have a run. She can have a streak. That's fine. And, again, what are we taking in consideration? If you're flipping the script, were you on a bad team last year? Now you're on a better team this year. You have to take all that in consideration. But if she has a run over the next couple weeks where she's cooking, where she is absolutely, when I say cooking, like going on a Brunson run, a little Brunson burner, and we're looking up, and friggin' Caitlin Elizabeth Clark has 7-8 straight games of 30, 35. The shit's going to hit the fan. The shit is going to hit the fan for so many reasons. Because I want to see if they really start to acknowledge just how great of a player she is. And you are going to see, I'm telling you, man, you're going to see how the odds shape. That's all I'm saying. You're just going to see it. Good player, she's not overhyped. Marcus, I appreciate it, my friend, but she's not overhyped. How do you say that? Come on, man. Come on. What are we doing here? Why is she overhyped? Do you understand? I don't want to keep going back to this, but here's the reality. She's got the weight of the world on her shoulders. 24. She didn't ask for this shit. Everything she does is over the microscope. Everything she does, it's magnified. Do you not understand that? Last night, people were waiting. They were waiting for her to have a friggin' blow up. They were waiting for them to lose that game so they can turn around. Well, 45-10, she still lost. She missed a 3 at the end. It's like you can't win. I appreciate your comment, and I always love the engagement, man. And like I said, like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you like the content. But my point is this. She's not overhyped. She's a phenomenal player. And there's nothing wrong with just admitting that. If people don't like her, they don't like her. They already have these preconceived notion about who she is, how she is. Walks, talks, plays, smiles, doesn't. Gets aggravated, doesn't get aggravated. Submissive, aggressive, alpha. It doesn't matter, man. She's going to continue to break records in spite of the fact that the league and her team and her head coach, I should say, doesn't want her to. And you guys are going to have to live with it. And the other thing last night, if I'm going to hand out the flowers, I thought last night was one of the cleanest games I've seen this entire WNBA season. Refereeing-wise, flow-wise, that was just a good basketball game. That was a good basketball game. Seattle, they're young. Young teams, they have to learn how to close. Mr. Y chimes in. Brother, I had a fantastic time last night. Thank you. It was a great game. It was a fun game to watch last night. If you're a pure basketball fan and a basketball purist, man, you like the game, okay? You like the game. You love the game. You watch the game. Marcus, man, I'll say this. Every player in this league cries. Come on, man. Every player in this league bitches, whines, and complains when there is a foul, okay? Come on. Nothing wrong with being overhyped. She makes the game exciting. Yeah, I don't, listen, give me some juice, man. Give me some juice. She's a lightning rod. Do you not get it? We're talking about it. People are still hating on this girl. 45-10. She is a lightning rod. Paige says something. Great talent. Lightning rod. Angel Reese says something. She's starting to come into her own. She's playing phenomenal. Great talent. Lightning rod. This is, these are the positives that the league wants. We're talking about what's going on the floor as opposed to what's going, what the nonsense happening off the floor, which is just, I don't care about it on a Saturday, man. I'm appreciating ball for what it is today. I'm appreciating what I saw last night. That was a friggin' hell of a game. And that performance was a masterclass because she probably could have had 50-15, 50-20. Then what are we saying today? She's overhyped? Message boards are funny. Message boards are funny. If you don't agree, man, you're iced out, right? You're blocked out. It's like Kobe his rookie year. They're icing you out in the All-Star game. And I like to read a lot of message board, and I love to read a lot of the comments that come in, especially on my show when I'm on the air. Whether we're talking NFL, whether we're talking, baseball, NBA, Knicks, Sixers, LeBron decision like we did yesterday with my guy Jonathan Marshall, WNBA, whatever it is. Everyone's got an opinion. Everyone's got an opinion. You can't force certain beliefs and opinions on people. There are people right now tuning in that just do not like her and think she's overrated, overhyped, not that good. She cries, she whines. Do you watch the game objectively? That's all I'm asking you. Do you watch it objectively? You can't sit there and say, well, it was a 20-loss team. She got to the line 19 times. Man, come on, man. She's creating her shot. And I think 6 of those trips to the line were late. They had a foul. Come on. Larry Bird had it worse than Caitlin Clark. Hey, man, Larry Bird came into the league, and if you're talking about people looked at him and said he can't play because he's a slow white dude. I mean, Larry Bird, I said this yesterday on my show with Jonathan Marshall when we were talking about some of the all-time greats, and people were debating, LeBron and Michael. And to this day, you don't compare LeBron James to Michael Jordan. You compare LeBron to Magic. You got to talk about the player for player, size, physicality, what they do. Everyone was looking for the next Magic, Michael Jordan. But to your point, with Larry Bird, you asked some of those players back in the day, they found out real fast Larry Bird can friggin' play because they didn't see. I mean, Pistol Pete was a little different. Cousy was a little different. West was a little different. No one saw a player shoot like Larry Bird. Oh, here you go. White kid from French Lick, Indiana State. So, yeah, they beat him up. No doubt, man, because they were teaching him a lesson. It was baptismal by fire. But what did Larry do? Larry Legend, winning a couple MVPs, winning NBA Finals, right? Winning championships, Hall of Famer. I mean, Larry Bird, to me, I still argue top 5. I think the young guns don't realize how great Larry Bird was. But she is also going through a little bit of that baptismal by fire, is she not? Now she's the 10. You guys, I mean, come on, man. Come on. You guys are funny. You guys just don't want to give credit, and that's okay, man. I get it. Everyone, someone check on, what's his name? David Dennis, right? Come on. Someone check on him. I mean, listen, if you watch the game, you watch the game. If you don't watch the game and you are a casual, I can tell you right now, the cats that listen in to me and have been listening to me for years on the air, they're going to call you out. You're going to get exposed. You better bring it, man. You're going to catch some strays. You're going to catch some L's. I got a duck. I don't want to deal with this stuff. I don't want to deal with it on a Saturday edition of On Cue. I want to play something for you guys, and I'm going to get through all your comments. I want to know your reaction, okay? So I'm going to pose a couple questions, and I want to know where you guys are commenting from. I want to pose a couple questions for you guys. First of all, it's 45-10, right? Now, here's my first question. Why are some still unable on a Saturday to sit there and say she can flat out friggin' ball? Why is there still prejudice now? 45-10. What else does she need to do? That's my first question. Okay? That's my first question. And after what you saw last night, do you really now believe it's been a coaching issue, first and foremost? Because I maintain if this coach just sat down and someone checked her, you're going to have a lot more games and wins like this. I'm not saying 45-10, but you're going to get 28-30. You're going to get ball distribution. So again, prejudice still. Why? And how much of this have you really sit there and say, this has been pretty much on the coach? Look what happens when the coach allows her to go and play her game. Okay? If she was called fairly inconsistency, I agree. 30-10. I agree. 30-10. Listen, she did not. Last night, you know what she did? She shut up a lot of people who, when I came on the air the other day, I said, she's a ticking time bomb. She's broken. She's not enjoying the game. That's what I said. The passion, the love for the game has been sucked out of her because of this head coach. Maybe last night was that first step where it's back. It's back. Now, recency bias, Monday morning quarterback, and we all get giddy. You appreciate it on a Saturday. It's not even marinating for 24 hours. But maybe that was the first start, the first step. Because if this team wants to succeed, if this league wants to succeed, the best thing for everyone is to allow her to be her, allow her to play her game. And that comes down to coaching. It comes down to coaching, man. It's not about who you're setting out on the floor. It's not about the starting five. It's about coaching them up. Coaching them up. Like that coach has to come out last night and give flowers. How do you not? This kid didn't want to come out of the game in the fourth quarter. Pete last night, CC, led by example. She didn't quit. No, she didn't. That's what you want. That's a generational talent. That's a friggin' leader. That's all. That's a leader. That is a leader. Period. Look, you're going to have goofballs out there. You're going to have the haters out there. Everyone's a critic, man. Angel Reese can rip down 35 rebounds and people are going to say she still sucks. She gets blocked from behind. She just grabs a loose change. Come on. You got to appreciate talent. And some people don't want to do that. They just don't. They really don't. They want to sit there and they want to put every little thing and nitpick and nitpick and nitpick and nitpick. So I believe it falls on the coach. And I believe right now, last night should have been that wake-up call. Last night should have been that wake-up call where you've got a special player. You've got a good team right now. They got to clean it up defensively. We know that. You got to clean it up defensively, man. You cannot afford. I understand these leagues, make or miss league, but you can't give up a 17-point lead to a team that is very young, that's 6-20 coming in. They're 2-13 on the road. You're up 17 at home. You can't pull her when she scores 8 straight points. You can't bench her. You're not giving her a blow. You got to keep her in the game. I mean, you're talking about stretches of a basketball game that can decide the outcome of a game all by coaching. All by coaching. And Mitchell was fantastic too last night. She had 30. She had some big buckets. No doubt. Absolutely no doubt. But when everyone sits there and they piss on people like us that are trying to get flowers, or, myself, who does this for a living, sports talk, and I'm on the radio and I do the pod and I've covered these leagues over the years. You can't deny or dispute. You can't sit there and say, well, let's just ignore her record. She had 4 steals and 2 blocks. She's the fastest player in WNBA history, 200 career three-pointers, 74 games. Oh, by the way, she broke the record of Katie Smith. Oh, by the way, she's breaking Tarazi's record, who, Humperdinck acknowledged the other night. Come on, man. You got to understand, if you're a good head coach, what happens? You got a player that comes in, raises the entire profile of a league, the entire profile of an organization, a franchise, a fan base, attendance, ratings. Here we go. You help cultivate a CBA, a historic CBA, right? Now, I don't need her to deal with social problems. No, that's not what you're getting paid to do. But you can't tell me, you can't watch a game objectively and honestly and sit there and say, when you allow her to run, or if you let her run her game, you're going to get W's. Like, you have to let her run her game. Is it in the best interest of a franchise, of a head coach, to basically reel you in? No, it's not. You let this girl do what there are certain players in all the sport, you just got to let them cook. You got to let them do what they do best. You have to. You have to. Come on, man. I'm not taking the ball out of Brady's hands. 80 yards to go, 1 timeout, $1:35 to go, trailing by 7, trailing by 6. I'm throwing it. I'm throwing it, right? Come on. She's shooting 33 from 3. How is she generational? Get real. Marcus, you're just a hater, bro. And you don't know friggin' ball. Come on, man. Come on, man. Do me a favor. Look, and I say this with respect. No ball. She's a generational talent. So you're going to sit there and say 33%. First of all, what do you think the league average, right? The league average in these leagues, mind you, in these leagues, when you're talking about 3-point percentage. Well, let me check you. Let me help you. The league average is 33.6. I think it was 33.8 in 2025, 33.8 in 2024. Stop looking at the stats, man. Look at the impact she has on the floor. Okay? She is a generational talent. You are just you're sounding foolish if you think otherwise. She is a generational talent. Did you watch her blow by defenders? Did you watch her suck them in, shake and bake? They were like flabbergasted, man. They didn't know what the hell happened. She was like a blur. You know how many times she could have probably had triple doubles if the coach actually had her head, not stuck up her ass? Come on, man. This kid can win the MVP, win the championship, put up records, be a Hall of Famer, and some of you goofballs are still going to sit there and say she's not generational. Stop. You're embarrassing yourself on a Saturday. I can't bail you out, man. I respect your opinion, but I wholeheartedly disagree. Like, what do you deem a generational player? Do you understand the impact she's had on the game? I can't. I see you, Reese. I see you. CC chase down and strip is the best defensive play. Yeah, and of course, Whitlock, who's not Christian-like, decided to sit there and say it's a foul. I can't with Whitlock. I can't. Reese, talk to me, brother. Talk to me from Phil. Am I off base here? Please. Somebody got to walk it back. Come on. I don't know, man. I think if the back's fine and she's on fire like this, yeah. We want to see what she does for an encore. Do we not? I mean, I do. I honestly do. I mean, and listen, here's the other thing. I mean, this is a big game, man. This is a big game, right? They're right there. Eastern Conference. You got Atlanta, Indiana, New York. This will be a watched game. I would love to see her out there. Now, I'm not a fan of the minutes restrictions. That's all I'm saying. If she's healthy, let her go out there. Marcus. All right, Marcus, you know what? How about this, Marcus? And I appreciate the feistiness from you. I do. I love when all you guys chime in. Can we evaluate this down the road a little more? Right? That's all. Great game last night. It was a fun game to watch. It was a really fun game to watch. It was a Marcus, a little bit of a hater. It was like the guy yesterday that was chiming in when we were debating LeBron and Michael. Well, we weren't. It just came up on the show. And I mentioned that, LeBron, for his age, you got to give him his just due. He dragged that team years ago, Cleveland, in the finals. Has said every Batman needs a Robin, right? Because, Michael Jordan had Scottie Pippen. Larry Bird had wall-to-wall Hall of Famers. Magic had wall-to-wall Hall of Famers. But for some reason, this guy was set. He was calling him LeBronda. He was set on his ways that he just hated LeBron James. But every time I push and I said, provide context. So in the case of some of you guys today, you can't just throw at me 33% from beyond the arc. Come on, man. There's a greater impact she makes on the floor. They're starting now. After last night, you got to drag out. You've got to sit there on the perimeter, and you got to defend that three, especially when she gets cooking. That's another element of the game. So I'm drifting over. Now, is that the right weak side help? Do I double the right way? Did I slide? Okay, now I got to feed it. Now I got to swing it. Now I got to have confidence in my teammates to knock down the shots. I mean, do you want me to go back and look at every single solitary play over the course of her career where she's dropped it off in the lane and one of her teammates couldn't finish the bunny? Come on, don't nitpick. There are people in this world, I hand you $1 million friggin' bucks in a bag, you're going to complain it's too friggin' heavy. Come on. Definitely electric house, packed. It was a fun game, man. That was a good night for the WNBA. It was a good night for the WNBA. And it was a good night if you're a Caitlin Clark fan. And again, it was a good night if you just follow the sport, man, and you appreciate the sport for the sport. That's all I'm saying. There's nothing. You got too many haters out there. To me, there's a difference between hating and just not being objective. Be rational, man. If you don't like a certain player, you don't like a certain player. That's okay. But I think a lot of times what happens is they don't like her. So what happens? They find some reason to just nitpick. No matter what she does, there's always a player, no matter what they do, in any walk of life, you just don't like. You don't like because you don't like. You don't like the way they think, the way they act, if they're braggadocious, if they're submissive, if they're an alpha, if they're too demonstrative, they're a thug, they're a punk. If they're too quiet, they're a pushover. She stood up last night. You know why? Because her actions spoke. But it's still not good enough for some people. Those are the people, and I'm not singling out anyone, but those are the people you really can't please in life. So you just kind of, 2 + 2 is 5, have at it. Argue. Argue. Go ahead. Just go argue. Argue until the cows come home. But if she keeps going on this run and she has a spurt of 6, 7, 8 games, a lot of people are going to have to eat some crow, man, because everyone was waiting to bury them. Okay? Mikey chimes in. Seattle's a good team. Can't finish in clutch time, but their wins will come. Assist top tier team. Yeah, listen, it's a great point. I was texting my buddies this last night. My guy Jovan Alford and Jonathan Marshall joins me, covers the NBA in college. We had a great segment yesterday, by the way, on the NBA and LeBron, and also Caitlin Clark. Check it out on the channel. Like I said, Saturday edition on Q. Rich Quinones here. Like, comment, subscribe. That can help me out. Let me know where you're chiming in from. But yes, Seattle's a young team. They're going to learn how to close. I mean, you saw they wait too long to try to get the 2 for 1, a little more sense of urgency. I like the guard play. I love that kid in the middle. That's a well-coached team, man, and they're going to figure it out. Which, by the way, speaking of which, I want you guys to hear this, and it proves once again my theory, or just the reality of no matter what this player does, there's always the 1, 2, 3. I don't even know who the hell this reporter is. I don't even care. She's a jackass clown. But listen, this is talking about late last night in the game when she ran down the player in transitional defense. I want you to listen to this and then tell me if it's just comical, if it's here we go again, or haters are going to hate. By the way, this is a WNBA reporter. Who, again, instead of asking the question of, hey, man, you had no answers last night for number 22, 45 and 10. How come you couldn't contain her? Right? Here's the question that was asked. And you guys tell me what you make of this, okay?
Hi, sorry. Sorry to stick on the same topic, but that foul on Flage, was there a reason why there wasn't more of like going to the ref and trying to change that decision of not calling it a foul?
I would have to, go back and look at it again, the one you're talking about. But we looked at it and, decided against it in that moment.
Anything to rain on somebody's parade. Come on, that wasn't a foul. It was a great defensive play. Just stop. And even if you think it's a foul, it probably makes up for every friggin' foul that was missed on Caitlin Clark. But that shows you the narrative. It's already written. It's already written. When you get a friggin' race-baiting jackass clown like Jason Whitlock, who has in his bio Christian, not really Christian-like, but again, sitting there saying, the delusional Caitlin Clark fans. And I love basketball. If you guys are new to the show, I cover a lot of basketball. I've said it multiple times. I cover games in the States. I call games, broadcast games, play-by-play in the States, overseas. I'm a basketball junkie. Love football. You see the Little Giants mini helmet. My Knicks broke the streak. I'm happy. Here we go. After 53 years, I can die a peaceful man. I love the game of basketball. And I love college, and I love a lot of these different leagues and overseas and everything, and I can appreciate great ball. But I cannot stand for the life of me. If you're going to do your fucking job as a reporter, be fucking objective. Don't try to fucking stir this pot. And I'm sorry I dropped 3 Fs on a friggin' Saturday. I know the pup is sleeping. I got my fresh roasted coffee. I can't take it. Be respectful. Be objective. Stop hating. Do your job. Some of these credentials and passes should be pulled. It's almost as though some of these broadcasters, they refuse to even acknowledge her greatness. It's like they refuse to say her name on the air, like they're going to get fined by the friggin' FCC, like it's friggin' taboo. You listen to that broadcast last night, I can tell you this, they knew exactly what they were talking about. No lies were detected. But don't sit there after a player has 45 and 10 and you blow a 7. You sit there and say, hey, listen, they had 17. You came back. What happened late in the game? You should have got the 2 for 1. You didn't play with a sense of urgency. Is that just being a young team, figuring out how to close? But instead it goes, we highlight a call that shouldn't have been made, which was a great defensive play because everyone rips on this kid because they think she can't play defense. She's a defensive liability. And then finally, she makes the play, goes right down the other end, hits the dagger, and this jackass clown reporter has fixated, probably paid on the payroll by Seattle, fixated on one friggin' play. It shows you my point and my rant, and I apologize for dropping the Fs. I don't typically like doing that. I apologize. It shows you how the narrative, how the perception, forget about the optics, the story's already been written by some of the media when it comes to her. They will not give her just due. Okay? They won't. They will not give her just due, period. And look, it's not about who got it worse. Don't compare. You sound, some of you guys, with all due respect, you sound, just stop with the black or white, please. Stop. Stop. Yes. Is there a divide in the league? Black and white, straight, gay? Yes. There is. We know it. That's why it's divisive and inclusive. Do you guys have a problem that she's white? Do you have a problem she's a straight white player? Do you have a problem that she's a great straight white player? Is that it? Then at least come out and say it. But don't hide behind the keyboard. Don't do the gloss over with the comments or the passive aggressive crap because you're going to get exposed. I've been doing this a long time, man. I can tell you right now, I can expose you fast. That line wraps around the block. If you don't like her because she's straight and white, it's pretty clear. If you don't like her because you're a racist, it's pretty clear. If you don't like her because you're prejudiced, it's pretty clear. Your comments will expose you. Talk basketball to me on a Saturday. Talk basketball to me on a Saturday. Okay? Come on, man. You guys, some of you guys got to do better. I always appreciate the banter. I always appreciate you guys taking the time to listen in and to comment into the show. Talk hoops with me. Appreciate what you saw last night. Because I bet your friggin' ass, if that was another player, if it was a Wilson or a Reese, I'm coming on today and I'm talking about the same friggin' thing. 45 and 10, you out of your mind? I've been giving Angel Reese her flowers when everyone was telling me she sucks, she stinks. I said it the other day. She's starting to come into her own. I mean, I was very complimentary of her game. I don't care what you look like. Can you play? Can you play? That's it. Come on, man. Guys got to do better. You don't have to like a player if they're outspoken. You don't have to like a player. Like, I don't need reporters trying to friggin' sit there and just get on. Like, stop, man. Stop trying to poke and prod with the head coach who literally turned around and said it wasn't a foul. It's bad reporting. It's bad journalism. You are now feeding the masses and pushing that narrative agenda. Listen, you watch networks. You watch the news. Wherever you hang your political hat, you listen to one network, guess what? Trump is the Antichrist. He's the devil. You watch another network, he's friggin' Jesus come again. Right? Like, come on, man. Think for yourself. Don't get sucked into this nonsense. If you don't like her, you don't like her. Just come out and say it. 45 and 10. Never been done. Not bad for the 11th best guard in the league. Joe D chimes in, Q, I've never heard you this fired up in 20-something years on the air. It's annoying. I love talking sports, man. This is why I do what I do. You have to appreciate it. I'm exhausted. I called back to back to back last night. I was on the air probably a total of 5.5 hours yesterday. Not to mention the stuff I do for Destin FM down in Florida. I'm exhausted. I'm going on fumes right now. But I'm like, yo, my audience, we got to break this down. I got to chat with the Q crew. These guys are hoops heads, man. These guys are chiming in left and right. We got to get into it. Watch some games. Marcus games are not fever. The defense stays inside the 3. Weird 33 defensive or stretch when she's on the floor. And then what happens, Mark? She blows right by him. Do you ever notice that? She blows right by him. Seattle will dominate in the future. Oh, Malonka is a player. That kid is a player. Oh, my God. Around the rim? Phenomenal. She was phenomenal, man. I like that team. I do. They're a gritty little team. They basically have to figure out a way to close games. Maria, always a pleasure. I think Maria caught my little appearance last night. I'm not sure. She might have. D-Boy says, thanks, Rich, for coming on. I watch CC's legs, and if you slow down her motion, her legs are... Yeah, like sometimes when you have that little duck, right, in the pond, because they're like, they're amped up, man. They're going crazy. You have to watch. You know what she does? She is what I call like a change of pace guard. Very deceptive. Very deceptive. Because if you don't get an angle on her, because we know defense is not with your hands, it's with your feet. But if you can't cut down that angle, then she blows right by you. And she's crafty. She's smart. She knows exactly how to move a little bit, a little bit of, and look, those are the tricks of the trade, man. The great ones know exactly how to position the body, how to not get the feet tangled. Once they go up, they create a little bit of space. They draw the contact. They absorb the contact. That's why some of the great scoring guards of all time, they figure out a way. If the shot's not falling, I go right to the basket and I get to the line. Look, the great ones, and I'm talking about like when Iverson used to put the ball on the floor, it's almost as though you would sit there and say, okay, I got to back up and pray. I got to run to church real quick, get back, because I know he's about to do something. I know he's about to break me down. The stutter, the stagger step, the crossover, right? And Iverson was probably one of the fastest guards I've ever seen up close and personal with the basketball in his hand. There's difference, man. Putting the other end of the floor, foul line extended, putting the ball on the floor and going to the basket. I'm talking end to end. You watched last night. They wanted to get out and run. Why? Because they had Seattle on their heels, especially when they were up 17. And then what happens? You make a couple substitutions. Obviously, make or miss league. Your shot starts to drop if you're Seattle. They exploit it inside in the paint. That's one of the reasons I think Indiana, and I know no Boston, but Indiana's going to have to make a trade. They got to figure out a way defensively to lock down around the rim, but they wanted to push the pace. Because when you get guards going downhill like that, you get these defenders, man, they're running backwards. They're backpedaling. It's like having a fighter when you're backing him in the corner, man. He's on his bike. She's dangerous when she's like that. She's very dangerous. Yes, there are other guards in the league that know how to break down defenders, but she's always thinking, and this is just my opinion, and you guys might disagree, and that's okay. She's always thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead. And that you cannot teach. That's innate. You are born with that basketball instinct. It's like a running back who sees the hole before the hole is even created. It's all instinctive. You can't tell me you watched that game last night and late in the game or even in the third quarter or moments where she was really penetrating and deciding I'm putting it on, I'm taking off to the basket. Watch her eyes, man. Her eyes. Even when she got caught up, she's got eyes in the back of her head. She realizes dribble, dribble, drive. All of a sudden, everyone sucks in and converge. I'm wrapping it around. I'm dropping it off. I'm looking to the cutter. That's why I thought Mitchell, they should have designed more, they should have called more plays for Mitchell to cut. She would have had 20 assists last night. So, you got to appreciate what you saw last night. And if she plays tonight, great. If she has a night where she's 6 of 19 and she struggles and she gets banged around a little bit and they lose, then you know what the conversation is going to be tomorrow? Last night was an aberration. Friday night was an aberration. Because again, at the end of the day, you can't control everyone. You can't appease everyone. You can't control the masses. You just can't. And I'm telling you, if I'm Steffi White, I know she wants her to sit out. I get it. And maybe you look at that and say, hey, man, emotionally drained, exhausted, 45 and 10. But if the back's not an issue, you have to keep playing her, especially knowing you're going to get a break. All-Star break's right around the corner. Then you can worry about the second half of the season. And that, again, that's just me. But I can tell you last night, there was no way she was coming out of that game in the fourth quarter. None. Because then everyone would have got on her if she was kicking and screaming. Because that's what we do. She's a great, 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 great player. Period. Great player. So you guys can have your opinion on it, and I'm okay with that. Some just don't like, they just don't like. And I think a lot of times too, if your shot's not falling, you have to get to the line. If you break down her free throws, I think 6 of them came late in the game, where Seattle was also forced to foul to stretch out the game. So I don't want to hear this crap. I don't want to hear this stuff. It just shows that some are knowledgeable, some are haters, and some are not enamored with her game. And make no bones about it. Make no bones about it. Mitchell's a great player. Wilson's a great player, right? You know, Buckets is putting up points. You know, Thompson has vision, man. Clark has vision, right? Gray is a phenomenal guard as well. Vision. I mean, there's very good players in the league. Shepard's a great rebounder. Reese is a good rebounder. Wilson's a good rebounder. Jonas is a good rebounder. There's talent, man. I'm not taking anything away from that. But you can't tell me what you saw last night you saw before, because you never saw it before. That's all I'm saying. So why can't we just sit back and appreciate it? That's it. That's it. You got the trade deadline coming up. I know there's a lot of noise. There's speculation. There's a lot of conversation. JD says, Q, you can seriously sit there and say, run the game with Clark. I think it's in the best interest of the team to tame her. That's utterly ridiculous by Stephanie White. There isn't one player on the team that isn't better when Clark is the floor general. It's coaching malpractice, Q. Yeah. 30-point, 10-assist games in WNBA history. She's got the most. Now you guys are going to throw at me. She's stat padding. Sergeant Delaware chimes in. Q, when you think about it, how would you work that starting 5 going forward? It's always a variation. You're going to have Clark, you're going to have Mitchell, you're going to have Lexi, you're going to have Billings, and you have Boston. I mean, that's the group. You want to balance it out, right? That's it. But again, I still think, now, what I would do after last night, I would call up Dallas and I would see what it takes to get Alana Smith, because you need to fix your defensive issues. That's the way I look at it. Now, would they trade Alexi? Would they bring in another player, right? You know, you got Williams from Chicago. Now you're talking about front court depth. But the salary cap, like you guys pointed out yesterday, brilliantly, that's an issue. But you got to sit back and just kind of say, wow, that's a hell of a performance. That's all I'm saying today. That's it. Imagine waking up on a Saturday, and you guys got to let me know where you're chiming in from. But imagine waking up on a Saturday and saying, this is what I'm going to do. The first thing I'm going to do is flat out hate someone that scored 45 and 10. It's like watching Brady, Elway, Manning, Mahomes. Appreciate what you have. Come on. Appreciate it. That's all I'm saying. Oh, Marcus, man, you are a glutton for punishment, brother. Styles make fights. I can't even read. What are you guys doing today? Actually, you know, it's funny you mentioned that. So let me educate a couple guys, right? And I know people like the attention. What I do is, with my show, I try to be very fair and objective. And I was very critical of Clark the other day, where people were getting on me because I did not like her imploding on the floor. I understand why she did it. She was frustrated. She was pissed off. She feels the calls have not been going her way. So what does she do? She kicks, she screams, and the perception is she's a diva. The perception is she's entitled. The perception is she's a spoiled little brat. That's not true. Because if you watch this league, and if you watch it over the last several years, watch one game, then hit me up on social when a player's not whining or complaining. My feed will be silent. Every player in this league bitches, whines, and complains about calls. The reason that I got on her is because my whole explanation, my logic behind it was, she's that ticking time bomb. It's building up, it's festering, and every single day now, because of what's transpired over the last several weeks, with the Thomas foul, then the flagrant, then the suspension, then the hate, then the racist stuff, then Engelbert Humperdinck coming out the other day and not even mentioning her, you know, about the growth of the league, then Adam Silver talking about political football, Congress weighing in, It's all putting a target on her back. So now, not placate her, not bend over, not kiss her little fanny. That's not what I was suggesting. What I was saying is, if I'm her, you're going to speak up, speak out, but you also have to have a little more decorum when you play. You can be passionate and feisty, but don't let talking heads or the public sit there and say, see, I told you so. Because I guarantee you, if we're being honest on this Saturday, I bet you the 2+ to 300 that are watching right now, commenting in nonstop, thank you. I guarantee you there's a sentiment of you that were waiting for her to have a meltdown on the floor. You are waiting for her to have a meltdown on the floor to sit there and say, see, I told you so. She's a head case. She's got mental issues. She's a loose cannon. She's a firecracker. She's combustible. It's not going to happen because she's got to be better. She's got to mature like any 23, 24-year-old does. But also, a lot of us need to just back off. A lot of us need to back off. Like, a lot of us need to just back off the players as a whole. The fans are so fanatical, man. They're relentless. They're relentless. So what they do is they feed, they push, they prod, they push. I'm not expecting these commissioners to sit there and deal with all these social medias. You're not going to have an open door policy where every player gets a racist tweet or DM or sexist tweet. You're not. As long as no one's life's being threatened, they don't have time to deal with that crap. And I'm certainly not asking these players to be social media activists. I don't. That's not their job. Go play ball. Have an opinion. Don't get sucked into the trolls. But it goes back to what I said the other day. I don't want her to blow up. I don't want her to implode. I don't. But it was festering and building. She needed last night. She needed that game for her own sanity. She needed to be, her, if that makes sense. She needed to be her last night. She needed to be who we thought she would be. They needed to win that game. If she has 45 and 10 and she misses that 3 late and they lose the game, she would have got lambasted. She would have got killed today. Now, the smart fan, the objective reporter, the objective talk show host would understand the defense also let them down. But I guarantee you, she makes the strip, she misses the 3, Seattle comes back, hits a game-winning bucket, and guess what? The narrative is 45 and 10, no one gives a shit. Or 42 and 10. She misses the last 3. This is where we're at. So we're talking about it, and the haters are commenting, and you're nonstop. What does that tell you about her? What does that tell you about how she's viewed? She's it. She's the league. And a lot of you cannot get over it. Period. That's why I'm saying today, you control all you want. We're not buying into it, man. We're not buying into it. If you can't appreciate a great player and a great performance, you need to go see, you need to get hugged, you need to go get saved, you need to go to church. I don't know, man. You need some loving from the missus. I don't know what the hell's going on. Saturday, I don't know. You roll around a little bit in the hay on a Saturday morning. I don't know what to tell you. Do something, man. Get it out. Because you've got people that have a platform that is 1,000 times greater than what I do on my channel and on the radio, that speak to millions and millions. And when they're on the microphone and they start spewing that nonsense and that hatred and that crap and just can't give credit where credit is due, then the masses, like friggin' sheep, they follow. And then they walk out of there and they think they walk out of a little radio congregation and they're like, yeah, you know what? She does suck. She does stink because that's what, yeah, no, come on, man. Just stop. Be better than that. That's all. Just be better than that. That's all I'm asking. Have an opinion, but just be fair. You can comment nonstop. Be fair. Bring context to your comment. Don't come on the show, bring something to the table and sit there and say she sucks because she sucks. I'd rather he be honest and sit there and say, I don't like her because she's straight and white. Fine, you're exposed. We know how you friggin' think. Go away. See ya. That's all I'm saying. I saw that and thought better of it. Cause exposes what's... Yeah, I mean, listen, you already know how this coach is coaching going forward. You already know. That's why I want her to keep going off. I do. I want her to keep going off, and I want those MVP odds to close so friggin' fast because it'll prove my point that I've been saying for years. The league will never allow her to win an MVP. They will never allow her to fully shine and get hers. If this coach was smart, and she's not, she's arrogant, she's narrow-minded, and she's naive. If this coach was smart, she would totally understand, I got to let this kid, man, 29, 30, cook. Now we're starting to get in a little rhythm here with Mitchell, complimentary basketball. Let's go. Let's run this. Let's see what we're doing now. And if she can't do that, that's malpractice. She needs to go. She needs to go. That's all I'm saying. I mean, just stop. Just stop already, right? The coach is ridiculous. They friggin' had the lead, and then she turns around, and what does she do? She benches them, and then what happens? They friggin' lose the lead. I mean, come on. I love your passion. I love when you guys are chiming in, man. I love it. I really do. I disagree with a lot of you. I disagree with a lot of you guys, but can we just agree that there's really good players? That's all. Can we just, come on? Like, it's like the NBA. You guys watch the NBA. And Brunson. And I was critical of Brunson early in his career because I thought Jalen Brunson at times needed to be selfish where he was unselfish. I go back to some playoff series and again gets caught up in the air, some of the bad turnovers. But then you understand exactly what his game is. And Jalen Brunson can take over games. He can close games. He can do what few can do. You go on the road in an NBA Finals and the NBA wanted that series to be extended and you close out with 40-something to win a championship and end a 53-year drought. Hey, man, there's a statue. There's a statue for you, period. Okay? But this is who he is. But people will still look at Jalen Brunson and say he elbows, he flips, he flops. That's the NBA. SGA does it. Wemby does it. Giannis does it. Embiid does it. Players flop, man. Players do it. Players cry when they don't get the calls. So for those chiming in, sitting there saying she whines, bitches, and complains, do you watch this league? This league is poorly officiated every single solitary night. Last night, it was a clean game. Don't give me because of Silver. Don't give me because of Congress. Don't give me because of the panel the other day. They called a clean game last night. I don't expect the WNBA referee and the officials to call a clean game every single solitary time. I do not expect, my expectation is not that a player is going to get to the line 20-something odd times. But if you watch the frigging game and understand the game of basketball, she's drawing contact. So you have to call it. She's drawing contact. That's why she's going to the friggin' line. And the last 6 times, it was late in the game. They had no choice but to foul. Or the last 4, whatever it was. So you guys want to sit there and say, it's, this is what happened the other day. People were crying. People were complaining. Now she's getting her way. Now she's an entitled white straight player. Oh, my God. Take it somewhere else today. Please. Jesus God, on a Saturday. I'm working on like 45 minutes of sleep. And you guys want to bring me that nonsense. She went to the line 14 times against Golden State. So don't give me the shit because she went to the line 18 times last night. She went to the line 14 times against Golden State in 26 minutes. Prior to that, 11 and 12. She gets to the line. So don't highlight or accentuate, well, you know what? She went to the line. Or pardon me. Let me double check that. That was a field goal. Let me double check. 17, 19. Check that, check that, check that. Fact check me. I was looking at field goals. Check that, check that. She went to the line 19, 6 times, 2 times. And then when she had 2 games against Atlanta and Toronto, she went to the line 14, 12 times. So you're looking at the free throw disparity and you're thinking they're calling it in her favor. She drew contact. She drew contact. You got to call. Come on. I made a mistake there. I got a little ahead of myself. I apologize for that. I like Angel Reese. I gave Angel Reese a shit ton of credit, man. Nobody gets her. Marcus, you're off it, man. Marcus, I'm going to just I'm going to let the comments, they're just going to have to keep you in check today, brother. I can't do it. I can't do it. Guys, don't buy in. Focus on me. Don't buy in. Marcus is doing what he wants to do, man. Marcus might get trolled. Listen, I get trolled sometimes. I had Larry Logic the other day basically telling me that Caitlin Clark was trash. She's going to be out of league in 3 years. I don't know where he is today. I don't know where he is. We don't mind trolls, man. We don't mind trolls. It is what it is. You just got to know the game of basketball. That's all. And when this coach realizes they have a star, and when you have a star, you basically cultivate their talent. You let them shine. You let them do what they do best. Come on. I don't think some of the trolls are funny. I just think it's sad, to be honest. It's a Saturday, man. Go out, enjoy the weather. I hope you guys aren't dealing with any of that smoke or fog. Are you? You know? Let me see. What do we got here? I want to get to some more of these comments. By the way, Saturday edition on Q. Rich Quinones here. If you like coffee, check out the show notes. 20% off first purchase, fresh roasted coffee. Here we go. Here we go. There and there. There it was. I'm just going to keep it up for you guys. There it was. We call that, tell us how you really feel. I'm just going to keep it right up there for Marcus. All right. Yeah. You got it. Dude, you are a friggin' jackass clown. Get the hell. Get out of here, Marcus. Get out of the chat. Get out of here. What a racist clown you are. Seriously, man. You got nothing better to do on a friggin' Saturday? Go. Shoot. Go back in your friggin' hole. Come on, get out of here. I'm just going to keep it up there. I'm going to let you guys acknowledge it. If Caitlin Clark was black, none of you wouldn't even care to even acknowledge her. Okay. I think I came on within the first 20 seconds of the show. Not only did I mention, you want me to flash it up? Not only did I mention Clark, but I also gave props and flowers to Angel Reese, who I've been accused of being too much of a fan of. But hey. Let's go back to basketball. I think this game exposed SW's bullshit with minutes restriction. CCK playing in 2022 was wonderful to see. They got off last night, Maria. They got off, man. That's what you want. That's what you want to see. And yeah, I did think it exposes the minutes restriction bullshit because it goes back and forth. I think she got exposed, Stephanie White, last night. I really, really do. I do. Paige is talented. If she was guarded like Caitlin, she would be injured. They guard Caitlin. Here's a Mark. You bring up an interesting point. I want to talk about this for a moment. Why do you think they guard Caitlin Clark and play her the way they do? They want to humble her, man. They want to stick her on her ass because they understand they're not playing other players like that, especially Buckets like that. You know why? Because Buckets is not the face of the WNBA. Did I offend people? Oh. Did I hurt feelings today? Did I? She's not the cash cow. She's not. So the players are so jealous and petty, and that's why they defend Clark like that. When you were little and you're playing on the blacktop and you're playing with older guys, maybe you're 13, 14, and all of a sudden you want to step on there and start playing with the 17, 18, 19-year-olds, you know what they're going to do? They're going to bang you, man. They're going to elbow you. They're going to bang you. You're going to get bloodied. You're going to get the elbow in the chops. You know, you're not going to get the friggin' call. You're not. It's old school blacktop rules, man. Shut up and get back on defense, man. Losers walk. Don't even friggin' complain. It is like a baptismal by fire. It's like a rite of passage. Well, people can't stand that now we're really starting to shed a light on the bullshit within this league. And some of these players are getting exposed for who they really are, talent aside. But they don't like her because they're petty and they're jealous. So what are they going to do? They're not going to help her up. They're going to smack her hand away. They're going to foul her. They're going to tug at her. They're going to leg kick. They're going to do whatever they can. There's a difference between competitiveness and bullshit. There's a difference between playing the game physical and playing the game dirty. So you go back to that play with Thomas. That was a dirty play, man. That was malicious intent. She went out. She seeked trying to hurt Caitlin Clark. She did. And then what happens? The commissioner waits a day. You get the backlash. The head coach, by the way, comes out and sides with Thomas because she got all this visceral and viral and all this nonsense, but left Caitlin Clark sitting there out on an island. That tells you everything you need to know about how they view her. And I'm so happy she went out and put up what she did last night, and I hope she continues this, whether it's with Indiana or she gets friggin' traded and does it with another team, because all it's going to do is incense. It's going to just stir the pot when it comes out to the friggin' bigoted, racist, haters and trolls out there who will continue to get exposed. And that's why people get tired of this friggin' league, because they want to be able to watch a game, black, white, yellow, green, and just appreciate the talent. But there are too many out there, I should say, who focus on what? The color of the skin. Like, that is a jackass comment. I don't give a shit what color your skin is. I don't care. I don't care where the hell you were friggin' born. If you ball, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I call games all over the friggin' place. I've watched some unbelievable players, whether they're Filipino, they're over in Asia, they're in Spain, they're over in Africa, they're over in Brazil, they're over in Portugal, they're in the Caribbean. I don't give a shit, man. If you can play, you can play, man. I'm going to acknowledge that. I'm not going to have some friggin' little secret little racist button that I press because I don't like the way you look or act. You guys are exposing yourself. You are the problem. This is why the league will never prosper. This is why these players have to push back, because of this nonsense. It's nonsense. Is this how you really think watching sports? Then, man, I got to tell you, you got to be the life of the friggin' party. This is how you really think as a human being? Who the hell wants to be around you? You want to have an opinion? You want to talk friggin' basketball? Talk friggin' basketball. You want to tell me that a player's better? State your friggin' case. State your case. But don't come on with this crap. We can go back and forth, and we can have fun with it, and we can debate, and we can do it all day long, man. But you start to bring up the other crap, which we know is a major problem in this league. And I also believe the root of it also comes from these veteran players that are petty and jealous, that pull some of these young players on the side and they just start chirping in their ear. That's all they do. Knock her on her ass. Well, I want to play a clean game. Knock her on her ass. There's pressure to humble this kid. It's almost as though like seek and destroy. And last night, you know what she said? Fuck off. It ain't happening. It's exactly what she said. And I don't care if Seattle's a bad team. They're going to be good in a couple years. Mark my words. They got young talent. Young talent. That kid in the middle, she can friggin' play. She can play, man. She is going to be a beast. They are going to be a handful. They just need to learn how to close out games, and young teams will figure it out. Yes, they've dropped 4 in a row. What was it? 6 out of 7. I think they beat the Sparks, which was a nice win for them for a young franchise. They're going to figure it out. They're going to be okay. That Malunga, oh my God, are you kidding me? She's a beast. Oh my God, someone tell Marcus she's black. Oh, she's African American. Oh my God, Marcus, I know. I can't give credit to anyone, right? I can't give credit where credit is due. Clark is the best guard. She's too small and weak to be the best player. That's not true, man. 6 taller, 50 pounds of muscle, heavier, restraint, all her current skills, and she would be the best. I don't know, man. I mean, let me ask you a question. Was there ever a time you watched the NBA and Hochina? I appreciate it. Was there ever a time you watched the NBA and you said, man, Allen Iverson is the best friggin' player in the league? Allen Iverson was small. And, Clark is 6 foot. I mean, she's 24. She's not a fighter. She's not going to fill out, right? Her game is not going to be predicated on it's the quickness. She doesn't want to lose that agility. What happens is guys start lifting weights. They lose a little bit on their shot. Quarterbacks start lifting weight. Donovan McNabb was synonymous. He wanted to put on bulk. That's why he got hurt all the time. I mean, that was one of the great all-time performances in league history. And so I go back to what I asked you. If you watch the NBA and you looked at Allen Iverson, Allen Iverson always figured out a way to go among the trees. And Allen Iverson, the last time I checked, he was 6 feet. And Allen Iverson, had a little muscle, a little definition, but he was quick. So I think you're misjudging her a little bit. I appreciate the comment. But again, I think she has the ability. I think the game is going to slow down a little more for her, if that makes sense. So what I mean is, when you really start to blossom, like Magic Johnson, you go to and you look at Matt, and I'm not comparing the two, please. So just back up. Magic Johnson was never really the best defender. Magic Johnson was not the best shooter too. But where he excelled was the floor general. But he also knew if he needed to score, if you go back earlier in his career, especially the series when Kareem got hurt in the NBA Finals and he jumped it up in center and had, 39 and 16, 40 and 16, whatever the hell it was. Magic Johnson utilized his size, right? Because you can't teach size. He was a big, big player, but he was also a magician with the basketball. But he realized his strength, and that was basically out on the fast break. Here we go, Showtime division. If this team ran a little more, or you put her in a system that runs, constant, get up and down the floor, man. I'm not talking about what the Suns used to do back in the day. Like Showtime, get them out, wall-to-wall spacing, let her create, let her penetrate, get her going downhill. Her numbers are going to go up exponentially. Because even eventually, you're going to have to figure out a way how to defend half-court offense, right? No matter what, you figure out a way to slow down the team. But that's also where I think her game is so undervalued. Because if you watch, she continues the motion. You know, I call it flashing on the air. She's still trying to find her spot. She's still moving around. Reggie Miller was notorious for it. Reggie Miller never gave up on the play, especially half-court offense. Reggie would just kind of pick and pop right off the screen. Go back a couple games ago. You know, Cunningham was setting some screens. She was knocking down her shots. So I don't think we've seen what I'm saying is I don't think we've seen the best of her just yet. And I think in a different system where you had a coach that really understood her strengths, she can put up that 30 and 15, that 30 and 20. The numbers would be staggering. They would be staggering. Pardon me. So to your point, yeah, you might look at the size, and I think we have this notion where you got to be big and strong, right? You know, look at some of these girls in the league. Some of them are big and some of them are strong. They are, and they're very talented. But also, give me a kid that can shoot like she can shoot with that quick release. And she just needs a sliver of daylight. She needs a... Man, I had scouts tell me a couple of years ago they've never seen someone with a release like that. And who did we start comparing her to? Curry. And everyone looked at Curry and Davidson in college and were like, oh, he's just a volume scorer. He's not going to be a good pro. I mean, Steph Curry, you can argue Golden State ruined the NBA. But they made long-distance shooting sexy. That's all. Listen, I really appreciate good basketball. That's all. And what I saw last night was fun. It was fun to watch, man. So my opinion is right now, what I saw last night, you want to debate her merits, you can go ahead and debate it, but I thought it was a masterful performance. I'm extremely happy for her. She needed it because it was wearing on her in spite of the coach, in spite of the organization failing her. But I'm telling you guys right now, man, if she gets locked in and she is 100% healthy, and this coach gets her head out of her culo and they start to understand spacing on the floor, whatever lineup they go with, big, small, and that's debatable. We've talked about that ad nauseum. She's going to put up better numbers and they're going to win games. And the other thing is players are going to get theirs. Think about this. You got the facilitator in Clark. Mitchell, the leading scorer. She's a threat. She can take pressure off the rest of the floor. And also, oh, by the way, let's get you out in transitional offense. That's why I want to see her cut more. Then you have Lexi, right? So here we go. Defensive specialist, 3 and D. You know, weak side. This is what I'm going to do. Billings, who is a very good veteran presence. I can rebound. Here we go. Then you got Boston, who's the center. That's an inside dominant presence. Now, you got to clean up the defense. I think they need a little more depth coming off the bench. I think they need a little more depth in the middle, in the paint. And here you go. You're running. You're running because now you can talk about you want to go 6, you want to go 7 deep. You want to talk about adding in different players like a Hines Allen. You can talk about that, man. If the coach understood what she has, she's got some high IQ players, but she doesn't know how to utilize it consistently. And then it falls on KM. It falls on CC. She's not going to go out and have 45 and 10 every night. But I'm telling you right now, man, if you let her play her game and you get rid of this minutes restriction, her numbers are going to go up exponentially, and they're going to win. And yes, it's not about stats. It's not. It's about unlocking full potential. I just want to make myself clear. It's unlocking full potential. And right now, this head coach really hasn't unlocked the full potential. Last night, I hope it's not an aberration. I don't. But I guarantee you, if you watched the game last night, if you're a true fan of basketball, white, black, left, right, gay, straight, you sat back and you watched the game and you said, this was a good basketball game. It was back and forth. I'm texting my buddies. I'm like, are you watching this? The Seattle team's feisty, man. Oh, Indiana's going to blow it. Hey, man, here comes the dagger. That's all I'm saying. Sit back, relax, enjoy. Enjoy it. Leave the other crap, the other nonsense for the goofballs out there, man, because their opinion is never going to change. It's never going to change. There are some people that still want to debate Montana and Brady. There are some people that sit there and say, well, you know what, Wilt was the most dominant, but man, Kareem, and then, let's not forget about Bill Russell. He was the ultimate winner. Younger basketball fans, they don't know the history of the game as much. They can't appreciate the history of the game. And I don't claim to be this WNBA expert. I just enjoy the product. And I enjoy calling games. And I like good basketball. And I got a clean game last night. I got a clean game. The fans enjoyed it. The ratings are probably good. You saw a young team in Seattle that has some really serious friggin' talent. You had some good performances. I mentioned Angel Reese ad nauseum. And I get hammered for being this like Angel Reese supporter. I like Angel Reese. I don't have to like sometimes what she says or some of the antics, but I don't know. I like her, man. She's got a little bit of that, I like swag. I do. I like a little chippiness. I like having an edge to a player. That's all. She's done things nobody in this league's history has done. People still want you to think she's not the truth. Rookie Regardless says Clark's better. Why can't we just sit here and just kind of appreciate? I think a lot has to be said by the comments. And again, if you guys like the show, Rich Quinones here on Q, subscribe to my channel, like, comment, and share. You're always welcome to comment. And we have back and forth. You guys can hand me L's. I can hand you back L's. She's a trigger point, right? I think she is a trigger point. And I think people want to knock her down a peg. And last night, they couldn't do that. They just couldn't do that. But what'll happen is, if she has a stretch where she struggles, then you guys are going to just, get on her. You guys are just going to get on her. Joe chimes in, Q, she is 6 foot. I said it. Yeah. So, she's 24. How much is she going to grow a little more? I don't know. Denial. I enjoy reading these comments. Hey, listen, just do me a favor. I don't care if you guys go back and forth, right? Just be respectful with each other, man. You can come at me and you can troll the shit out of me. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But this, I have to pull this comment up. I'm guessing you throw darts at a poster. Yeah, I made the comment the other day. I thought Eminem was one of the greatest rappers of all time, man. He was a friggin' genius. What are you doing, Pete? Oh, man. That's too funny. East Coast, West Coast. Here we go. Big E, Tupac. All right, let's go. JS came realize she needs CC. Notice she didn't dribble. She ate off backdoors and open shots. Yeah, and that's why I wanted more screens. 100%. 100%. That's a great, by the way. That is still throwing darts. Guys, don't take it so serious, man. Come on, man. It's just sports talk. Don't name call. Come on. I value that you guys spend time with me. I do. It is what is that? Like a Planet Fitness, right? The channel and the show, no judgment. Judgment free zone. Unless you kind of come like goofiness. Then we do that on Monday, by the way. It's a Man Up Monday edition of On Cue. We call out. I mean, if this was a Monday show, oh, we'd be handing out L's and calling out people left and right. Mitchell was 13 of 25 last night. 34 minutes, 30 points, 1 rebound, 1 turnover, but she also drew a lot of double teams too to take pressure off Clark. And then when Clark drew the double teams, and by the way, let's not overstate, Billings had a pretty damn good game too. And Thompson did very well on the boards. I think she had 10. So it was a nice team effort. They almost coughed up. Yeah, I know that Eminem, that's a hell of a comment, by the way. That let me see. Mike in Ohio chimes in. Q, haters are always going to hate. Yep. Always. Yeah, we don't have to name call. Just have fun, guys, man. It's not the end of the world. And I don't care about whatever you believe politically. That's on you, man. That's my show is not like that. That's all. The defense stinks. That's why they have to make a trade. I like Pitbull too, man. Mr. 305. The defense definitely has to do something. That's going to bite. Listen, you're at home. You're up 17. I know basketball is a game of runs, but come on, man. I didn't even know there was a league. It's okay. Caitlin Clark showed up. I don't like when she crashes out, but I can't blame her for it either. That's all I was trying to say the other day. That's all I was trying to say. Period. That's all. That's all I would. Evelina. How are you doing? I'm going to make a comment real quick. The game yesterday was outstanding. It was a very good game. Thank you. Marcus Relentless. Yeah, she's a great player. Again, Saturday edition on Cue. Rich Quinones here. Also on the Odyssey app, SR 1029 FM The Game. If you like the show, we pretty much go 5 days a week. In the afternoon, we go live. We had a lot of NFL content yesterday. We had a good debate on LeBron and his decision, which, LeBron's just dangling the carrot. But definitely keep it locked in on the channel. I thought, I don't know if she plays tonight or not. If she's going to be on minutes restriction, your guess is as good as mine. But I think what makes this really fun sports talk and the engagement is that, you're still shedding a light on the league. And because these players and this player is such a friggin' lightning rod, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? I mean, I'm not naive, man. I get it. We know the league is divisive. We can all agree. The league is extremely divisive. But I believe it's because the commissioner has made it that way. And this is me, man. If you want a remedy to this, you have to bring in a commissioner that's not going to try to serve two masters. You have to bring in a commissioner that understands that I have to be a hardliner. Now, what is interesting, the other day, we kind of broke it down. It's also going to be a no-win situation. Now, just hear me out. Hear me out before you get on me. If they bring in a commissioner that is a straight heterosexual male, people are going to complain. If they bring in a straight woman, they're going to complain. If they bring in a gay woman, people are going to it's one of the reasons I think that the NBA needs to step in. And remember, the NBA holds 42% equity in the WNBA. So by Adam Silver saying what he said the other day, and for those that are new to the show, I mentioned this last week. The fact that Engelbert Humperdinck blew off the interview with Dan Patrick, people forget Dan Patrick is very tight with Adam Silver. Adam Silver jumps on Dan Patrick's show a lot over the years because Dan Patrick loves basketball. He was a basketball player. He cut his teeth in Ohio, Dayton, News Talk 1290, WHIO. I worked at that station many years ago. So Dan Patrick knows hoops. And he loves the NBA and he loves college. And he's a proponent of the WNBA. So she turns around and she blows off that interview. Mind you, they're at the same golf tournament, the same golf outing. She had an opportunity to flip the script. She had an opportunity to change the narrative. Last night, Caitlin Clark changed the narrative. She retook control of who she was in the eyes of the fans and the media. She shut up a lot of people, right? Engelbert had an opportunity to do the same friggin' thing, and she blew it off. Adam Silver caught wind of that and most likely didn't appreciate it. Adam Silver also had to inject to the commissioner and push her, you need to suspend Thomas for the incident. Adam Silver also came out the other day and said that Caitlin Clark was what? A political football. So I believe what we're seeing right now is the slow transition of moving away from this commissioner. Is it going to solve everything that's going on in the league? It's not. You can't control, like, I don't know, what's the point of having this third party or separate entity come in and talk about, social media and look into these players are always going to get razzed, no matter what, especially with the sports betting and the sports gambling public. It's not going away. It's not. It really isn't. So, again, Evelina, thank you. LeBron, way better score than man. Oh, 100%. No one's comparing. But what I was saying real quick, and I'll get to my point in a second, Adam, not even comparing apples and oranges. What I was saying is Magic understood his strengths, and it's one of the reasons he wanted to get traded, because he felt they were not letting him get out on that fast break. He wasn't getting his touches, right? And that's one of the reasons he butted heads with Westhead. And then obviously they brought in Pat Riley. I said, man, we're going to accentuate his talent and cultivate it and run. I believe Stephanie White needs to do that with Caitlin Clark. I'm not sure if last night was that first step. But going back to, the whole stuff with the commissioner and then Congress coming in, it's just been a shitty week. It's been a bad week, man. It's been filled with what? Race, straight, gay, lesbian, not lesbian, white, black, hate, racism. The product stinks, the officiating bad. Last night gave us something good. Gave us something good. So that's kind of why I wanted to come on today. It gave us something good, man. We enjoyed it. There was good basketball last night. You got to appreciate it. That's it. That's really where I'm at. So, Sophia chimes in. Imagine being the kind of person who likes to annoy others and derives pleasure from it. It's a scary person, Sophia. That's not the life of the party, my friend. There's always someone that wakes up and they decide, you know what? I just don't like to not like. Me, I wake up, I'm happy. I got the pup, work out, take a little run, we're good to go. Even though there's a smoke, I don't know, people are sitting there saying about the smoke and the fog, but some people are just like that. That's okay. She can go on and she can average 5 points the rest of her career. She can win 10 MVPs and 5 championships. There will always be a hater. Always. We've all have endured them. We have friends that are like that. We have family members. They just find something to bitch and complain about. You're sitting there. Oh, you might be in a relation, wonderful dinner. Here we go, candlelight and the wine, and I'm dining you, and we got the ocean view, and then guess what? The ocean's too noisy. There's always something. There's always something. And, if you think she's the only player in the league that cries, you don't watch the league. And I got to pull your basketball card. That's all. That's it. The league is petty, man. People are jealous. People don't want to see other people have success. I mean, you should. What's the big deal? Like, do you? You ever hear that expression? Do you? You know how many shows come on and, you guys are nice enough to chime in and hang out with me a little bit. I just do me, man. If you like the style, you like the style. If you don't like the style, that's okay. If you listen, you listen. I think a lot of times people listen in. They probably don't like me. They probably think what I'm saying is outlandish, but you're listening. That's hey, man, I try to give you a different viewpoint. I try to give you a different angle. We try to be respectful. Yeah, sure, we go off. I used to go off a lot on the radio. Just heated, passionate. That's what we do, but there's got to be a level of respect. And you also have to acknowledge when you see something really good. And you have to look past certain things. And I think some people won't do it, which is it's a sad state of affairs if that's how you really think. You know, you watch sports. We love sports. We grew up playing sports. We got involved in sports to what? Keep us out of trouble. Play with our friends. It's different now. 20, 30 years ago, everyone's playing around. You guys are, now these, young kids, they're glued to the phone, right? Social media, nonstop. They don't watch the tube. And if you turn on the tube to watch something, there's no more, really good sports talk, debate. It's all scream, 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 list, list, list. Who can scream the loudest? They think they're the right. They're always right. It's not the style that I do. It's not. So we try to give you a different angle on it, a different viewpoint. And I look past some of the other nonsense. Like, Kevin C. in North Jersey chimes in. Q, I've been listening to you since you were on 1290 the ticket. You never really gave a shit what color a person's skin is. You just appreciate who. Yeah, I don't play that game, man. I don't play that game. I'm older. I've been around the block. I don't have time for that shit. Take it somewhere else. I really don't. People don't know my upbringing. People don't know, what I've, who I hang out with, my circle. You know how many players that I'm friends with? That, I would love to get more of them on the air, which I'm going to try. But I'm tight with a lot of NFL guys too. I don't, some of them happen to be African American. Some of them happen to be white. What the hell do I care? They're good dudes. They're good guys. I love talking sports with them. I can acknowledge their game. I really can. So if you get some of these talking heads like the Jason Whitlocks of the world, like some of these reporters that just, always figure out a way to spit on these people, on these players, if you're not mentally strong enough to derive your own opinion, I don't know what to tell you. That's a weak-minded person, and that's a scary person. And society doesn't need people like that. Some of these clowns, they're bad, man, because they have a microphone and they push propaganda. They push shit. They want to stir the pot. They're race baiters. They just can't see the game for the game. They have to come up with some outside, narrow-minded viewpoint and way of thinking. What I saw last night was a basketball friggin' player. What I saw last night was a great basketball game. What I saw last night was a young team that's eventually going to have to learn how to win. And I saw another team that blows a 17-point lead at home with the All-Star break around the corner and questions flying about the GM, the head coach, the star player, the stars on the team. Can they coexist? Mitchell and Caitlin Clark. It's not a good fit. It's mud. It's water. It's oil. It's vinegar. It doesn't work. And then what did we see last night? We saw 45 and friggin' 10. We saw a defensive gem. We saw a friggin' dagger of a 3. We saw a young team in Seattle that has 2 or 3 really blossoming good players and a good head coach. We saw fans that were happy and were pleased. We saw records being smashed. We saw 2 players that a lot of people didn't believe that could coexist. And they got a win. That would have been a devastating loss. To put up that kind of effort would have been a devastating loss. You blow a 17-point lead, you wipe away 30 and 45 combined for 75. We didn't get that. We saw good basketball, a clean officiated game, and talent at its finest. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. And if you can't appreciate it, you strike me as the type of person that can have the most beautiful sunset right in front of you and complain that you heard a friggin' bird. I can't help you. I can't. I can't. And I like the fact that the game last night was clean. And when I say clean, it had a flow to it. I mean, they were going back and forth, dagger for dagger. The little guards on Seattle, man, they're feisty. They're feisty. They were playing a good brand of basketball. They give you computer access at Rikers? Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that, Marcus? Because I would imagine a guess that I think you're probably only limited to 15, 20 minutes. But listen, if you are really posting from Rikers, that would be a first. I don't think you are. But just remember, man, a couple things. You know what? I'm not. I'm not as much as I want to comment. I'm not going to comment. I'm not. I don't know. Did they give you like a phone card, a computer? You got access to the computer on that? I mean, talk to me now. I've walked prison cells before, because years ago I went. If anyone knows, because if you guys are just tuning in, I'm a boxing guy. I call the fights as well. Rawway State Prison, which doesn't exist. Rawway State is one of the nastiest prisons in the country, and that's where Dwight Muhammad Kwawi was. Great cruiserweight back in the day. Camden Buzzsaw, Dwight Braxton. But yeah, I've walked a prison before. Never behind the clink, so to speak, though. Imagine being the kind of person who likes to annoy others. Oh yeah, we went over that one. I didn't even see the Reichert's one. KK did a great job. Oh, you said the kid has potential. You saw it last night, man. You saw some really good basketball. Period. And that's all I want. I'm fascinated to see how this team handles, the second half of the season. Right? I'm wondering, how they handle and put it together. Her teammates even played Caitlin's game. Ben, appreciate it, brother. Yeah, 100%. Now, I did make this point. I thought they should have ran more cuts and have Mitchell play off the ball a little more, right? A little more motion, because that's where I think she's really good. Because, again, now you got to, as a defender, you got to make a decision. You got to make a decision. Howie, agree. Their defense, especially their transitional defense, was bad too. And yeah, you got to know when to switch. I talk about that a lot during these broadcasts. Like, you have to know when to make the right. Look, if I'm sitting there and I see that Seattle, I don't know, said player is really struggling from the floor and they're really having a hard time. And I don't know, they shot pretty well last night. They shot 60% from the floor, but let's just say, I don't even know who to use. Let's say Johnson, right? Who played well last night. Let's just say Johnson. If I know her shot's not, she was 0 for 2, 0 for 3 from beyond the arc. If she's like 1 of 5 and she's chucking, there's no need for me to slide over perimeter defense and contest that. Like, sometimes you're not respecting the shot. Let them shoot it until you have to defend them. So to your point, the switching was horrible, but that's coaching. That's coaching. That's understanding position on the floor. That's all. And I think that they have to work on that, period. If they don't, they are going to get in trouble. They're going to get in trouble. They're not going to make a deep run. They're not going to make a deep run at all. Some people let go of their identity politics. It is what it is. And like I said, don't listen, keep the chat going. We've been on for almost 2 hours. Don't allow trolls. Keep firing away at me. Keep talking hoops with me, man. Keep talking hoops, period. Been talking about Wilson, nonstop. Unbelievable. Where you been, Miss Alberta? She's a beast. She's a beast. She's a great player. No one's disputing that. I don't think you meant that for me, though. She's a very good player, man. And the one thing I like about her, she's been around the block. She's been in the league for a long time. But statistically, I would say she is probably, aside from 2024, she averaged around 26 and 11. I would say this year, I think she's making more of an impact. Like, some players, they're really good, and then you really watch them closely. And a double-double, look, I've said this ad nauseum, but they're not doing what she did last night. I'm sorry, they're not. And if they do, I'll come on the air, and guess what? I'm going to give them credit. I'm going to give them credit. I'm going to give them flat-out credit, man, because at the end of the day, you got to let these kids cook. Got to let them cook. Mitchell Cook, that's exactly what I said to start the show. That's exactly what I said. It's exactly what I said. Mark, you echo my sentiments. Boston's not available, right? So again, you got to figure out a way, offensive scheme, to pick up the slack, and they scheme it around, again, who? Last night they schemed it around Caitlin Clark, and once she started to put more pressure on that defense, then that's when Mitchell got the clean looks. When they started to make adjustments and double on Mitchell, that's when Clark was available, and she was doing what she does best. That falls on coaching and scheme. It goes back to one of the things I mentioned. It'll never work with those three. It looks great on paper, but I don't believe it's sustainable with Mitchell and Clark on the floor going forward with this head coach. I keep hearkening back to why they have to decide what they're going to do. When her contract runs out, she's due for the Epic. If they're thinking about trading her, you're going to get at least 5 first-round draft picks, or you got to get rid of this head coach. You got to get rid of this head coach. And until they do that, then, you'll get a night like last night, and then you'll get the minutes restrictions, and you guys are fans. You're going to get frustrated. Then the coach is going to get called on their carpet. Nothing's going to change. The one thing I cautioned people during yesterday's show is, if she has the moment, enjoy it, because you don't know what this head coach is thinking when it comes to the back issues. If the medical staff is clearing her, then she should be able to play her 25 plus. When Boston comes back, if Mitchell starts to gripe because she wants her touches, she wants her looks, you never know what this coach is thinking. She is not a hardliner. She isn't. She is not a coach that sits there and says, my team, I coach, you play. She tries to placate everyone. And that's a horrible way to coach. You can't be successful in this league and coach like that. Texas Frontier, that's a hell of a handle. CC haters are crashing out because they live their lives seeing everything through the lens of race. That is a very sad but true statement. It is. And the other thing that bothers me, the smart person, I don't call people dumb or stupid, but the smart, educated person in this life understands. And we're going to take the Congress crap for a second. You really think that kid gives a shit if Congress drew up a letter? The problem is, they drew up a letter, they put her name in it, so you get the very informed, narrow-minded, agenda first and foremost, push my agenda, people who come out and now want to equate her to their political beliefs. Because Congress is using her for their own agenda and platform. That's not fair. That's not fair. Don't tell me that's her lot in life. That's not fair for her. That's bullshit. That's BS. That's why I think it's a grave mistake for Congress to even have that letter. It was stupid. Engelbert Humperdinck's treating her like a friggin' Sears coupon. She doesn't know what the hell to do with it. Congress, stay away. Fix the country. Do other stuff that's meaningful in this friggin' country. But now you get the narrow-minded haters out there, as you guys alluded to, that want to figure out another way, another bullet where I hate her. I can't stand her. You see, she's got Congress. She's Confederate Kate. She's got Congress in her back pocket. You guys, truer words were never spoken. Truer words were never spoken. Haja's great, different way. Yep. You can all be great, but they all have a different skill set. Okay? They all have a different skill set. I mean, she's not going to put it on the floor and create a shot like she is. And Caitlin Clark doesn't have the muscle or the beef or the strength to go inside and get ready. She doesn't. They're different players, man. It's apples and oranges. It's a bad comp. It is. It's, in my opinion, it's a bad comp. Great. Talent, 100%. 100%. Man, some of you guys are reaching today, boy. Reaching. And I just let you kind of go. I just kind of let you go. That's all. We just kind of like to, expose for what we do. Yes. Yeah. If you listen to him, I don't know what to tell you. And you're free to listen to whoever you want to listen to. But, the Whitlocks of the world, the David Dennis, the Ryan Clarks, they're just race baiters. They're shit stirrers. They are. They want to get the clicks. They want to get the rise. This reporter, I played that clip. This reporter went out of her way to create the narrative late in the game, the foul, instead of just saying it was a clean block. It's just, it gets old. It's lazy. Like, be creative. Be creative. That's it. And it's very hard to do, right? Howie chimes in, 640. I mean, that is a big difference. It's apples and oranges, man. It's comps. I don't know, again, how many times we got to keep saying this. There is talent in this league, but I certainly can't compare, a 6'4", 6'5" center to a 6'0" guard. Their games are vastly different. One of them's going to feast in the low block. The other's going to feast from the perimeter. It is what it is. Let's move on. They got the Liberty tonight. They're at home. They're laying 2.5. You got the Fire and the Lynx. You got the Mystics and the Valkyrie. I haven't seen anything as far as, injury designation, which annoys the hell out of me because 1 week it's the back and then 2 days later it's rest. Which one is it? See, this is the other thing that bothers me with this organization and coaches doing. This is a perfect moment. You ever hear the expression, like, know your audience? Know your audience. This is a perfect moment right now. You had a fan base that was in it from the get-go. And I bet you got some good ratings last night. You have a player coming off a first in WNBA history. 45-10. You have another game that's going to be nationally televised, a marquee opponent on a Saturday night, right? The game's going to be on Paramount, CBS Paramount. You have to play her. You have to. Because you basically now, you got a little juju, you got a little juice, you got a little momentum. To not play her is a disservice to the fans. It really is. Because, and I'll give you the perfect example. Years ago, now timing is everything. Years ago, my father, who was a retired New York cop, was a detective, served subpoenas, and he became buddies with Boyz II Men. He became buddies with them. And they used to give him tickets. And I was still covering games, but he was like, listen, you want to go see the Phils in St. Louis? And I'm a Yankees fan. But I knew this was the year that Mark McGwire and Sosa had their race. They were going back and forth with the home run record. So I begged my buddies. I said, yo, man, let's go on a Monday night or a Tuesday night. They didn't want to go on a Tuesday night in the summertime. They wanted to go to a club. So that night, I think McGwire hits 3. He doesn't play the next night. And that's the game we went to. And I think Gary Gaetti hit 2. Like, we were starving. Like, the fan base that went to that game after McGwire hits 3 home runs at the vet, they want to see him the next night. He didn't play. So you have an opportunity right now where this kid is the talk of the WNBA, Hoops World. It's a national story, 45-10. Throw her back out there. Throw her back out there tonight. If she's healthy and she can play, give her the 25, 29 minutes and let her friggin' cook. Imagine if she goes out tonight and drops another 40 plus. Imagine. Like, set the ego aside, man. Set the ego aside. These fans are probably clamoring to see her tonight and so excited. And then you get that kind of Bush League designation, probable day-to-day, rest back, minutes restriction. Let her cook. Let her play. Take advantage of that opportunity. That's it. Just take advantage of the opportunity. What do we got there? That's what CC fans want to see, fun games we have not had since post-Olympics. You just want to see good basketball. That's it. Paige and Caitlin respect each other. That game was fair call by the refs. That's all we want. That's all you want. I think that's all the league wants. That's it. That's all the league wants. They just want it down the line. That's all. text chimes in. Word on the street, some very important people sitting courtside were appalled by the racial slurs directed at CC by opposing players that got Congress attention beyond the flagrant fouls. I don't like. Look, let me say that some of these fans in the league are really bad. They're very, very, very ignorant. They are. There's no place for that. There's none. You should not throw out racial slurs to players. You just shouldn't. That should not be tolerated. You just shouldn't. And it's sickening, but it's the world we live in, but you don't have to deal with it and condone it. And if that's the case, and I can tell you, I've been courtside and I've heard some stuff that it's pretty vile, man. It's pretty nasty. Now, words are just words. They shouldn't affect you, and you should kind of just, ignore it. But there's no place for that. Like, that's not the image you want to portray, because then you've got a couple bad apples ruining the whole bunch, and then this is what people turn around and say, well, look at our fan base. Because I've read it. I post stuff on my TikTok, at RichQ1Q. You wouldn't believe the shit that people comment about some of these fans. Backwards this and whatever, marrying their cousins, kissing their cousins, and here they're racist, here you go, KKK, I understand it's the world we're in. I understand this is the world we're in. It sucks. I wish I had an answer for you guys. You are never, ever, in this country, in our lifetime, it's a divided country, and racism will never end. There's been prejudice and racism going on since the dawn of time. It's not and will never end. You cannot convince someone to think like you. You can't. And once they're set in their ways, whether it's upbringing, whether they read something, they watch a network, it's who they, what they think when they came out of the womb, just leave it alone, man. I always say this. I've been saying it for years. If 2 + 2 = 5 in your world, have at it. Go argue. Argue until you're blue in the face. I'm not gonna argue with you. But no, there's no place for that in sports. There's none. There's no place for that in society. I hate the fact during the football season, I do a gambling podcast as well, a sports betting pod called Back Your Play. It's on my channel. It's on several other platforms, and I do it in podcast form and audio. It's not a podcast to shill. We just break down the game, the X's and O's, and we give you some trends. And it's just, hey, it's all about bankroll management. There's the disclaimer in the beginning, 1-800-GAMBLER, responsible gaming. I know how these gamblers think because I've worked in the gaming industry as well throughout the course of my life. And I've worked in online, and I've worked in sports. I know how these apps work. I know how they manipulate. I know how they suck you in. And if you're not careful, you get sucked in. What's happening now is you've got some bettors out there in the sports betting world. And I have a lot of gamblers that listen to my show, and they get pissed off when I say this, and I'm sorry, but this is the truth. They have no clue how to do bankroll management. So they start losing their shirt. They start chasing their losses. So when they lose their shirt and they chase their losses, who do they take it out on? Well, they're playing a player prop, and I need Gray to hit 9.5, and I'm playing the under, and she scores 12. I'm taking it out on them. Now, don't come at me and sit there and say, well, I was reading that on Instagram. You have to accept certain, man, a message is a message. If you accept it, you accept it. If you delete it, you delete it. But if you read it and it's offensive, that's different. That's different. So now you add in the sports betting, the gambling, and the apps are manipulating you. They want you to get sucked into the parlays and the player props. And here we go. Extra bonus bet. Hit that, incentive. Hit your wagering requirement. You're watching these games. And what happens? She's short a rebound. She has a turnover. She doesn't get that assist. She doesn't get that three-pointer. And you have some of these degenerate idiots, and I hate saying it, low-brow, low-class gamblers that just, you can tell their line of thinking is because the first thing to say is, you cost me this game, you blank, blank, blank. That's who they are. So that clown that got caught the other day and got exposed and lost his job, rightfully so. I mentioned this during the week. He will turn around, and I bet you dollars to donuts, he's going to get an attorney. He's going to file a wrongful termination suit, and then he's going to sue one of the apps and say that he's a degenerate gambler, and that's not who he really is. No, it's exactly who you are. You are a bad gambler, you suck at gambling, and you're a racist. That's your lot in life. So to your point, if you got fans sitting there and they're doing this shit, they need to get banned. They need to get kicked out of the league. They don't earn the right to say that. You can heckle, you can have fun, but that other crap, no. Because this league is already divided. And then you get the naysayers out there that think some of these players are crying wolf because, well, prove it. There's no police. Like, that's a slippery slope, man. I talked about this the other day on the air on my show, and then it turned out that now some of these players, because I get media guys that tune in, they're asking these players about them, about, you know, these racist comments from these sports bettors and these gamblers. There's nothing the league can do. They're not going to have sports betting and gambling. They can try to police all they want, but commissioners of leagues don't want to be inundated and bombarded with this nonsense, right, wrong, or indifferent. So you can't control these jackasses. You can't. But there's got to be a protocol in place. I mentioned this the other day. If I'm these players, I don't even respond because you know this. Once you feed into a troll, you gave them exactly what they wanted. You're feeding right into the masses. And that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. I look at these message boards with some of these fans, and it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Melvin, see, here we go. Karen Clark has a breakout game against a 6-20 team. Y'all losing your minds despite being gifted all the free throws and pushing off so much. Come on. You going Karen from Goodfellas, or are you calling her like a Karen? I don't know. Next few games, you'll be screaming, fire the coach. Well, first of all, I can't speak for other people, Melvin, but I've been saying get rid of the coach. Melvin, I'm curious if that was Wilson or Reese who scored 45 and 10, and we are celebrating it. Are you still trolling? Just answering the question. That's all. That's all. That's all. I'm just throwing it out there. Look, there's bad fans all over the place. Seriously. There's really bad fans all over the place. But, you know, if she comes back tonight, it's special. But you got to go overboard because it's never been done. And this is a fair point. I texted my buddy last night. I want to see her do it against a very good defense. But I'm appreciating it. And I appreciate you chiming in. It was a great game. No one's getting overboard. 45 and 10 has never been done. I want her to play tonight. And that's a good comment. And that's a fair comment. That's a young team. They lost 20 games. They don't know how to close. Not the best defensive team. And Indiana almost blew a 17-point lead. A lot of shit could have went south. A lot of stuff could have went south, right? Come on. Yeah, I mean, she basically said, listen, you know, she's not going to get, it means nothing to her. That's who she is. And she basically said, we need to clean up the defense. My God, you guys are flat out warriors today on a Saturday. You guys are still arguing. All right, let me see. Back under your rock. Oh, you said you guys are arguing bird, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I have over 800 comments. I try to get through everyone. By the way, you guys can comment on the video and you can follow me at RichQ on Q. If you like the channel and you like the show, we go live during the week. I had to come on today. I told you this. I had to come on because you guys were killing me the other day because I was getting on her for having a meltdown. And I said, she's about to be a ticking time bomb. She's about to blow up. And guess what? She blew up last night, 45 and 10. But if you like the channel, best you can do me a favor, subscribe. And definitely keep the comments coming. I got crazy comments coming in. What's going to happen? Now, here's a question for you guys, because we do a lot of basketball talk, but we do a lot of NFL talk. So if you guys are NFL fans too, just let me know. We break down the games. We do a friggin' Man Up Monday. We go through the betting lines. We go through all the divisions. If you guys are like this now, WNBA in July on a Saturday, what are you guys going to do NFL season? Oh, Marcus, are they going to allow you free minutes at Rikers? Let me know. Marcus, I'll send you a phone card. You know what I'll do? I'll send you a burner. Why not? We'll get on that. We'll get that burner cell going for you. We want you to have minutes. Collect call. Calling from Rich Quinones. Marcus, I accept the charges. Let's go. Come on, let's talk a little football too down the road. Oh, man. That's funny. You guys are too much. Let me see. I'm trying to get through. CC has the most trolls watching a game in NBA history. Cha-ching. Shauna chimes in. Exactly, making money on the haters. People complain to Congress that the WNBA was allowing a hostile environment. I just hate the fact that they did that. It's just, stay away, Congress. Stay away. Listen, if you guys are football fans, I gotta know. Because we go heavy in the football talk. Heavy in the football talk. Period. I mean, right now we're doing WNBA and basketball. LeBron watch, by the way. It's about to happen. LeBron knows exactly where he's going. LeBron James already knows exactly where he's going. Yesterday's show, oh my God. Yesterday's show, we just touched on it and all the haters were coming out. Just talking about the game itself and his decision going forward. No place for that. I agree. Heard it's a problem. Players don't like it. Rich, you're dead on accurate today. Facts, brother. Facts. Pete, as a gambler, tailor fade at your own peril. Hey, man, listen, brother. I can tell you this. You ain't sitting down at a 25 table at a $200 bankroll and playing blackjack. You know, these young kids sit there. They're playing 10 a hand. They lose 4 in a row. What do? They reverse progression bet. They play 50 because in their mind they think they're going to win again. You are 100% correct. And you got to know. You got to know when to lean. You got to know when to fade. Yep. And it's funny too, Pete, because I said yesterday on the air, this is where I deserve to get hammered. I said, I don't know what this coach is doing. I don't know the minutes restriction. Don't play any player prop. I think her player prop yesterday was 23 points. Oh my God. On social, you guys were hammering me on social. Oh, I was getting bombarded. What the hell are you talking about, Q? You knew she was going to play tonight. I had no idea she was going to go off for 45. I had no idea she was going to go off for 45 points yesterday. None whatsoever. I felt so bad, man. Unbelievable. Some downplaying Fever win, comparing it to Aces versus Storm, trying to tell him Styles make fights. Leonard beat Hearns. Duran beat Leonard Hearns. Yeah. Because you know why? I think because she scores what she does last night, and Mitchell had a fantastic game, right? You can't blow a 17-point lead at home against a young team and your stars or your face or your franchise score 45 and you lose. That would have been a bad loss. Yeah, we're glossing over 45-10, but we're also talking about them coughing up a 17-point lead. Now, if you want to play devil's advocate and say that's a gut check win over a bad team that doesn't know how to close, we've seen it in the NFL. Like, you're allowed to have an off night defensively and you make a stop late. You get the strip sack, you get the turnover, you get the sack, but you also walk away saying, we got away with one. And I think if you listen to the post-game presser last night, she basically said it's an embarrassment in so many terms. They got away with one. You can't do that against better teams in the league because then the 45 and 30 respectively are all for naught. So sometimes you do play down to the level of your opponent, but it still does not take away from 45 and 10. And to your boxing analogy, which I love, does it make a difference if you knock them out in the first round? Well, if you knock them out in the 12th, then people lit there and say, man, that was a war, right? At the end of the day, it goes down as a KO in the books. So it's how you frame it. It's how you view it. It's very, very subjective. The two schools of thoughts were, if they would have lost that game, the narrative, the focus would have been shifted on, she missed a 3 late, she's not a clutch player. Why wasn't the ball in Mitchell's hands? That's what the narrative, that's what have been focused to. And you can't tell me anything different. You can't. You just can't. You cannot tell me anything different. You can't. You just can't. Commish has to be the boss. Player don't play. These are the rules. NBA equity players will adapt because they like money. She's not going to step in. It's not her job. And by the way, the NBA, to your point, Shauna, would do that because they have 42% equity in the league. I know what you're saying. Like the NBA, look, Popovich did this. It was the Spurs that created this. The rest, it was Popovich. The load management with Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili, it hurts the NBA product. But then conversely, you have Kobe's last year and you have bad basketball and you're hoping to see him play, and teams were raising their ticket prices. That's why if you got rid of this commissioner and you brought in someone from the NBA who understood branding and marketing, I think the league would be better. It's not going to fix the officiating. They need to invest in full-time referees. They also need to suspend these referees and grade them out. The worst thing to me is when these leagues have a pool report. I don't need to know after the fact my team got screwed or I missed a call. Look, the NBA Finals, the NBA did their hardest, their damnedest to extend that series. That was some of the, and I'm a Knicks fan, but that was some of the worst officiating finals I've ever seen in my life. It was totally geared and swayed to benefit the San Antonio Spurs because they wanted the finals to go 7 games because you had a good market in New York looking to end the title drought in 53 years. You have the new face of the league in Wemby who should have been suspended, but they weren't going to do that and have him sit an NBA Finals game. So to your point, listen, eyeballs are everything. Eyeballs are everything. I would love for these players, I would love for a player like Clark to be fully healthy and get her 29 minutes. But maybe that's not going to be the case. I don't know. Maybe she wakes up today and her back, God forbid, knock on wood, you never want to wish it, but maybe she tweaked it. You just don't know. But if she's healthy and the medical staff clears her, then the head coach has to play her. The head coach should play her. Should she not? I see a Cape Verde? No. Are you serious? Did I see a Cape Verde chiming in? You guys had a hell of a showing in the World Cup. You had a hell of a showing in the World Cup, man. Look at that. I do some content for Channel 82 in Bermuda. So you might see my mug over there, Shauna. Just letting you know. Just letting you know. Might see my mug over there. If you turn around, you're going to be like, oh, this guy with the good hair. Kelsey chimes in. When was the last time we saw 2 players score 75? That might have been a first. That was something last night, man. That was fun to watch. They complemented each other really nicely last night. I hope it lasts, but man, the cynic in me is like, they're not going to let Mitchell and or Cunningham walk, but they're going to have to pay Clark, right? Makes no sense. You would want the best product to trade to get the most value for that product. What are we talking about? What did I say? What did I say? What did I say? I threw it out there. If they're not going to utilize her skill set, if they're not going to let her ball, some guys were chiming in yesterday saying that's malpractice. That's the worst GM. Some moves you make, you have to, and that's horrible. And some moves you make benefit. Like my whole argument was, I don't see a path of success for her with this organization. I believe she needs to get traded. It's crazy because in one breath I'm saying she's a WNBA, she's the face of the franchise, she's a generational talent. But if her value is X and you can get 5 first-round draft picks and it would be a blockbuster, it would be a deal that changes how we look at women's sports because I don't even believe they want to pay her. And who's to say she wants that contract extension? When you're aligned for the Epic, it all goes back to what? Your stats, because they equate to dollars. So my argument that I got pushback was if this coach is manipulating her stats on purpose, that's going to affect the bottom line, her money, her ability to earn. That's why I don't like this head coach. I never liked this head coach. This head coach, because she won In college at Purdue, she sucked at a head coach in Vanderbilt. She was horrible. She was a volatile head coach. She was arrogant. She alienated her players. That's why 8 to 10 of them who were starters decided we lost the love of the game. We don't want to play anymore. And then because you have a coach that played in the WNBA, had success prior to being hired with Indiana, was also X's and O's, a talking head on the rat ship ESPN. They figured, hey man, she can take this franchise to another level, and we can utilize the skill set. Round peg, square hole. I've been saying it for weeks. So unless you fire the head coach, you'll get last night, which is great, and we can applaud it. And then you might get the rest. You might get the minutes restrictions. You might get her being iced out. Call it for what it is. There were moments on the floor, not last night, but during the season, both Mitchell and Clark were icing each other out. That's a bad look. That's coaching. You got to hold them accountable. As you can be a great player, you can be a generational player, but I can pull you to the side and I can rip you a new one. And I think there's going to be a lot of discussion in the offseason how this plays out. You look at the cap issue, that's an issue. You look at the trade deadline coming up right around the corner. They need to clean up their defense. They have to acquire. They have to clean up the defense. They need another body. They just do. So there's a lot of questions that this franchise is going to have to answer. And if the GM Cox comes out and they decide to make a head coaching change, that might be a sigh of relief for Caitlin Clark. She's submissive. She's going to say the right things. She's very methodical in her approach. She's never going to say something outlandish. I believe it would have been a perfect time to call out the organization in the minutes, but like she said yesterday, another little shot to the head coach. You're not taking me off this. I'm not coming off in the fourth quarter. I'm not doing that. Can you imagine she's not in there in crunch time and they lose that game? That coach should be fired, no matter what. So, man, I'm telling you, it's sometimes you got something good in front of you and you don't know how to handle it. The cynic in me, the conspiracy theorist in me, and you guys might call me crazy, but I believe there's a sense of sabotage and manipulation going on with her because they don't want her to get hers, because if she continues to get 45 and 10, 35 and 10, her value skyrockets. Forget about records and MVP. I'm talking about this. They don't want to pay her. So then all of a sudden, you got her at her highest peak at the best value, and I can get a king's ransom back for her. It's a bad fit in Indiana. It's just a bad fit. And if you manipulate her minutes, then she presses on the floor because she's fearful that she's going to get benched or she's going to force the issue. Then she'll have a night where she plays 19 minutes and she's 3 of 16, and the trolls and the haters come out and they say what they say. She sucks. She can't play. She's not generational. She chokes. She's a bad shooter. She's a turnover machine. She's a defensive liability. Well, the coach is putting her in bad spots. And I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you what I believe is factual. I say the eye test. The eyes don't lie. Read the room. There was a part of me last night that was watching this head coach when they panned over, and she's like, man, if this girl goes for 50, this coach might get pissed off. She has to come out afterwards and give her flowers. How do you not? What is she going to do? Sit there and say, well, yeah, but she missed a couple down the stretch. It's just a bad fit. It was great to watch, but the reality of sports is this. Great players get moved all the time, and sometimes great players aren't paid by the organization. They're undervalued. They go somewhere else, and they blossom. And they also turn around, and they have great careers. No. Here's the thing. The difference is this. Roger Goodell makes the owners money in the NFL. That's why he makes $60 million a year. Caitlin Clark has her fingerprints all over these franchises going up in value because of the new CBA and the broadcast deal and the rights. That's because of her, not because of the commissioner. Now, will the commissioner take credit for it? Of course, because she's goofy. So when Adam Silver says, we got 42%, let's talk about the season in review, we'll recap it, pros, cons, state your case. So you can check off all the negatives about Kathy Engelbert. Divisive, inclusive, trying to serve two masters, doesn't come out and protect the cash cow, picks and chooses what player she wants to protect, hides from the media, goes hit golf balls. Okay, fine. Now the pros. Well, we've got the broadcast deal. Attendance is up. Ratings are up. Merchandising is selling, to your point, Shauna. And Adam Silver might turn around, the board might turn around and say, yeah, you know what, continue, keep doing what you're doing. And that's the worst thing, because we know who should have credit for everything I just said. It's one player. Like, people want to gloss over it. You can't. I guarantee you, the front runners, the casuals, had no idea, couldn't name 10 WNBA players, prior to a year or two ago. Prior to a year, and I listen, I watch Caitlin, I watch college hoops. I watch her in college as well. And I actually said yesterday on the air, the last player I saw with as much hype, because I followed and covered her in college, was Elena Deladon. Elena Deladon, who was a great player, Hall of Fame player, unbelievable in Delaware. Imagine if she actually would have really committed to UConn. The reason she didn't is she wanted to be close to home in Delaware to take care of her sister. But that's the last, when I talk about, oh my God, type of player, and people forget about that, which kind of goes back to the goofiness of having the omission on these commemorative posters. You didn't have Tarazi. Did they have Lobo? I don't remember. They didn't have Caitlin Clark. They didn't have Elena Deladon. So again, the commissioner, she's making the league extremely divisive. Whether she wants to admit it or not, that's one of the reasons she really won't deal with the media, because the media is going to ask her hard questions. The media is going to go after her, and she's not going to have the answers for it. She's not. She's just not. And that's a problem. It is. And, if they clean up the officiating and there's a lot more ebb and flow to the game and the refereeing is better, you're going to get a much cleaner product where people will take the league more serious. But when you see, fouls and hacks and girls missing bunnies and just bad transitional basketball in the game, bodies are slamming to the floor and whistles are being blown left and right, you look at it and you're like, oh man, this is like watching like the YMCA, the PAL, JCC. This is a bad product. I mean, we've been there. We played sports. You could have been really good in sports, and then sometimes you play on a bad team. It's almost as though, as much as you want to shine, sometimes you play to level their opponent, to your teammates. And we're seeing that across the league. This league has some really good talent. Some of these players are in bad spots. But I honestly, in my heart of heart, believe unless this organization fires this head coach and they bring in a head coach and they sit down this head coach and they say, how are you building this offense? And they say it's around 22, and I guarantee you, then that's the right coach, because you've got an exceptional talent. And Mitchell can still get hers. You just got to figure out a way to make it work. And maybe these two are not meant to play together throughout the duration of their career. It doesn't mean one player is toxic, and it doesn't mean the other player is better than the other. It just means it's not a good fit. It looks sexy and great on paper, but when you throw it out on the floor, I've called enough of games over times where I've seen teams assembled and roster construction, and you put them on the floor and they might be a bunch of D1 caliber players, AAU, McDonald's, All-Americans, guys that have starred overseas. And once you stick them on the floor together, it's a bad fit. You got to recognize talent. You got to recognize how to cultivate that talent and how to get the most of it and out of it. And I don't know, man. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Problem is, the owners have made this league an activist hub, and commission will work for them. It is a cluster. Hence, it's inclusive and divisive. It is. And then instead of enjoying moments, that's a slippery slope, my friend. That's the problem you run into. It's a problem you run into because you can support whatever you want to support. I don't have a problem. You don't have to agree with certain things. But you can't punish someone for not thinking the way you think. You can't. And if you have a sediment of players that have a certain lifestyle and they don't respect certain players because their lifestyle doesn't follow suit, that is a problem. Now, can another commissioner fix that? And it's kind of where we went, where we kind of started. If another commissioner, like, I can't make you, I can't press upon my belief on you and then magically you change it and you sit there and say, yeah, you know what, Rich Quinones said it on his show, so I believe it. Now I'm going to think like he thinks. That's never going to go away. But she is so afraid. If she would have came out the other day and said, you know, listen, we've got a great player that has been transcendent and we got to do a better job of officiating. And, you know, we know what a player like Caitlin Clark has meant to the league. Even if she verbalized it that way, people would still come out, players would come out because they did prior to. Why is she giving her shine and not us? So it's a no-win situation. But she's also created this divisiveness. And I don't think bringing someone new in right away changes that. I think the players, they are who they are. They believe what they believe. They live a certain lifestyle, and that's fine as long as you're not hurting anyone. Do what you do, but you also can't force a round peg in a square hole. And let's just call for what it is. Caitlin Clark is straight, white. She doesn't fit the narrative. And I'm sorry if that rubs people the wrong way, but that is the truth. It's the truth. And I think that's where a lot of the divisiveness comes from. I don't like it. I wish it was different. You know, I don't see that. I see great talent, but I'm just being objective as an outside observer who's been doing this a long time, and I've seen it in other sports, and I've seen it in locker rooms. You know, if you just don't fit, you don't fit. And you're never going to get the full respect that you deserve because you're not one of them. You're not part of the tribe. You're not part of the pack. And it's not going to go away. Like, she is going to have to deal with this the rest of her career. She's going to have to deal with the under the microscope. You know, Paige comes out and says what she says the other day, and everyone goes nuts. Okay, I can't speak to how she was raised or who raised her. If she can speak on it, she should be able to speak on it. But right away, oh my God, I mean, it's just a warped way of thinking. And maybe I'm naive in this sense. Maybe I'm because I'm older and I've been around the block and I've seen it. I've seen a lot. I've dealt with it firsthand. I know what it's like. People look at you, they hear your last name, they see your skin, they see how your hair is, they see how you talk. I know prejudice. I know it. I've dealt with it. I've seen it. And you just got to deal with it. And you can't ever get so worked up because people will never change. The players, they are who they are. You've got some strong alpha players in this league. And you have some players that want to push and press upon their beliefs on other players. You can't stop them. If you're these other players, you have to make the decision on your own. If you believe X, you believe X. If you believe Y, you believe Y. If you were raised a certain way, stand by your convictions, man. Stand by your convictions. And I'll respect you even more. Because I realize that it's not that sheep herd mentality. That's the other thing. You ever hear that expression, right? Strength in numbers? I think in this regard, it can kind of be the downfall of the league. It's just, listen, it's just my take. And a lot of people might not agree with it, but it's just my take. This league can be a good basketball league. It really could. It could. You know, I'm not going to talk about, the upshot. I mentioned that because it's a feeder league. You get these players to go there and start poaching other players. I had people sit there and say, stop saying she can form her own league. It takes hundreds of millions of dollars. Michael Jordan loves her. Mark Cuban loves her. You can get backing. You can do a PPM. You can do a private placement, Miranda. You can raise capital. If she wanted to, she can go overseas. She can start her. She can. She has that star power. And the people that hate her are going to continue to follow her. She's got that type of value. And her fans are going to be so loyal, they don't care if they need to wake up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. They are going to watch her. That's the reality of the Caitlin Clark effect that few or some will not recognize. They refuse to recognize because all they're looking at is how she looks. the color of your skin, how she carries herself. That's it. But they're not looking at her talent on the floor. And you, me, the 750 odd comments we had today, almost 1,000, we can't push people to think a certain way. There's already a preconceived notion regarding some of these players. And you can't change someone's thinking. So a player makes a hard foul, all of a sudden they're a punk or a thug. Come on, man. If it's a dirty shot, it's a dirty shot. But you're never going to change how people think. Never. Never. So that's why you got to do you. If you enjoy these games for what they are, enjoy these games and continue enjoying these games. You have every right. That's why I do the show. I can't wait for football season. I can't. I think football season might be a madhouse on this show. I mean, if you guys are getting like this, God knows what the hell you're going to do during the football season. Fire White. I agree. Should have been done. Should have never been hired. I'm telling you. And here's the other thing. If you want to enjoy yourself in peace, stay off social. Stay off social. Because it's so toxic. It's so, oh my God. That's why I allow for the comments, because I just let people expose themselves. That's all. I just let people expose themselves. And then, the rest, as they say, is kind of history. You're right, Rich. When you're backcourt combined for 75, you got to win that game no matter. You have to. It would have been a horrible loss. It would have been a horrible loss. Period. White's poor rotations almost cost him the game. Yeah, and she tried to bench her late too, and she was not having it. That's right. That's right. You get paid just as much for, I call fights all the time with fighters, man. They say the same thing. They're like, Q, I get paid 1 round, 6 rounds, 10 rounds. Doesn't matter. A lot of these guys want to get them out early, though. We know that for a little shoe shine. Don't use CC to divide further. I agree. But that's what Congress is doing. Look, folks, this is the world we live in. We come across this, corporate America, in schools, jobs, we go out to eat. Everything comes down to, the reality is it's never gray. It always comes down to race, black or white. It's sickening. It's disgusting. It seems as though the majority of you guys that chimed in, we kind of share the same viewpoint. We just want to enjoy sports, but we have divisive personalities on the airwaves. And I like to have an opinion. I like to express my opinion, provide context to my opinion, and then we can go back and forth. But I'm not one to sit there and just throw something out there to throw something out there. I appreciate engagement. I appreciate the views that you guys are going to keep coming back to the show. It means a great deal. I don't take that for granted. But I'm also not one to say shit. And when you have people on TV making hundreds of millions of dollars and they think screaming means they're right, or they're dangling that race carrot, that is bad. Don't feed into it. Don't buy into it. Go with the eye test. If you like someone's game, like their game. If you want to be critical, be critical. If you want to break it down, but do it for the right reasons. Don't get sucked into the masses. You can disagree with me all you want. You can sit there and say, you make a strong point, but I disagree. Here's my point. We're fine. We're good, man. We're good. But this league has allowed the media to basically write the script of the league. Okay? Case in point, a player scores 45 and 10, and you got jackass jerk-offs last night talking about she's a ball hog. She missed one. She's still a defensive liability. There was a foul late. Man, why can't we have nice things? Some of those people remind me like Christmas time, right? You get all the presents, and then you never realize, you always think as a kid the biggest present is the best one. That's not necessarily true. And you go through 12 presents, but you're still friggin' ungrateful. That's what I'm seeing right now. That's what I'm seeing. Appreciate it while it's there. Appreciate these players while they're there. You know, when the guys like Brady and Peyton Manning and the Marinos and the Elways retire, it's like, you love to watch him play. Rodgers, I can't stand him anymore. But in his prime, you got to respect him. Now, it's the twilight of his career. He's almost like irrelevant. When he retires for good, when Mahomes retires for good, you know, Stafford retires for good, some of these other quarterbacks in the league, we're going to sit there and say, man, remember when? Like, appreciate it for what it is, man. Look past all the other nonsense. That's the only thing I can convey. Draw your own conclusion, but back it up. You know, a little substance, a little context. Not just, they suck. He sucks. She sucks. She's horrible. She's bad. Okay, let's talk about it. What are you seeing? What am I not seeing? What am I not seeing? Because you know what's going to happen. If she scores 25 tonight and has 4 turnovers late, then everyone's going to sit there and say, all right, let's see what they say on a Sunday. Sometimes, and also you can't win. That's the other thing. You just can't win. And listen, we're not trying to win here, man. We're just trying to do what we do. That's it. There you go. Best politics or the fact that players of all races are playing together. That's all we want, man. That's all we want. That's it. That's it. That's all you want. Wake up in the morning and you know what? If you woke up, it's a good friggin' day. Is it not? Now, I'm going to be nervous tomorrow because Spain's playing. That's my squad. Argentina in the World Cup. No show tomorrow unless Spain wins. I might have to come on for 5 or 10 minutes. That's all. If you understood what Congress sent the letter, you have to wonder why only Republicans were supportive of it. Certain words shouldn't be heard during games and it shouldn't be tolerated. Hence the letter. I hate the fact that they did that. Because you know what they did? They put a target on her back. It's then you have to have the player speak out on it. That's using a player as a pawn. That's the other reason I got pissed with the minutes restriction. Is because I felt like they were doing it just to keep attendance going. Keep drawing attendance. That's all. All right, I gotta get sleep, guys. I did overnights last night. I caught a bunch of games. I'm calling them again overnight again. You guys are fantastic. You guys are friggin', you guys are just animals. Beast. 246, you hung with me on a Saturday? Give me a follow on social media. And at RichQonQ. But like I said, subscribe to the channel. We go live during the week. We do a ton of NFL. We do a ton of NBA. We'll mix in a little baseball, a little hot stove. We got our win totals coming up with these divisions. We're going to continue with the WNBA talk. We're not going to let it die. We're going to continue it. But oh my God, you guys are like beast. 246, 1,000 comments. Oh my goodness. Just keep... I say little touch, little smash, little hit, little here we go on that subscribe button. As always, I'm going to get through all the comments. And if you guys want to comment on the video, I promise you, I will answer all the comments I possibly can. You guys are unbelievable, man. You got a lot of knowledge in this chat. We got listeners from all over, including potentially Rikers. Who knows? Oh, man. Wow. Cape Verde. Unbelievable. Oh, the real winner of the World Cup? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You want to talk about Norway and England? You want to talk about the cable? We don't want to talk about that cable. Come on, man. You know what's funny about that one, Shauna? You sit there in England all day long. What are they doing? Attack, attack, attack. And then you drop back on your little heels and you're tap dancing through the tulips and you let Messi and Argentina do what they do best. Oh, my goodness. What a brutal loss. Brutal, brutal, brutal. Yeah, they did. They fought right through. All right, I promise I'm going to get through these comments, but you guys are fantastic. And again, let me just tell you that, you know, I think, you know, you got a good product. And if you support it the right way, and you can still be critical of the product, but support it the right way and kind of take the other nonsense out of it and just appreciate good basketball for good basketball. You know, it's kind of like good juju, and you almost kind of will it. They'll clean up the officiating. The players won't bark, whine, and complain as much. Hopefully they phase out this commissioner. The NBA steps in. They clean up the product. You're going to get the ratings. You're going to get good ball. You got the All-Star break coming. If she plays tonight, that's going to be great. It'll be fun to watch. If she doesn't, she doesn't. It is what it is. You got the trade deadline right around the corner. And then who knows? Come September, October, we're going to have the NFL, WNBA, postseason in baseball. My Yankees are spitting a bit. We will dive into it all. But keep the comments coming. I cannot thank you guys enough. I was only going to come on for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It's almost 3 hours. I got my fresh roasted coffee. If you guys are coffee drinkers, I'll put the link in below. You guys can save 20%. Wherever you guys are commenting in from, keep them coming. Comment on the video after we end, your thoughts on the show. And again, what you saw last night, how you think it's going to unfold going forward, Clark and the WNBA, how you would clean up the WNBA. I'll post a couple questions for you guys as well. But you guys have been fantastic on a friggin' Saturday. On a Saturday. Unbelievable. Let me see. What do we got here? DB. It was a little wild today, my friend. It was a little wild. Everyone can comment in as long as you are respectful to each other. That's it. We can all disagree. We can be like siblings during the holidays. We can disagree. That's all. What do we got here? Let me pull up that comment before we get out of here. You don't know if she identifies with that party. Kathy would step in. Congress has to wake them up and let them know. Get together. Quit ignoring the bill. Nah, she wants nothing to do with that. She's a 24-year-old that just wants to play basketball. She does. You shouldn't use 20-year-olds, 24. You shouldn't use them as pawns. Congress needs to just stay away. I don't need to hear from Congress. That's not fixing the WNBA. No, don't use someone, again, to push your own agenda. I don't like that. And that's what the head coach is doing because she's dangling that carrot out there of minutes. That's another thing I don't like. But, again, man, whew. The end of the day, 45 and 10. You cannot. Basically eliminate double standard officiating. Sports slurs will become almost, and they're not, because you're always going to have assholes. You're always going to have hate. That's never going to stop as long as you have sports betting and gambling. I still love that handle, Independent Aquaman. It's never going to end, ever. You know it, I know it. You know what's going to happen? We will come to a time where these venues and arenas are like almost all like plexiglassed in. Seriously, we will be shielded from the players. Period. Oh, look at that. I had the pleasure covering her. She was unbelievable. She was fantastic. Great family. I know she got a raw deal. People ripped on her for not going to Connecticut. They did not understand the storyline. I know she got burnout. She played volleyball. She was a hell of a player, and she wanted to be there for her family, and you got to respect that. You got to respect that. Sweetest kid in the world, man. Fantastic player. Fantastic. All right, I got to start and wrapping it up. Again, do me a favor. If you like the show, if you enjoyed the show, just subscribe. Keep the comments coming. I'm on IG and X at RichQonQ. TikTok, I'm just letting you know, if you are sensitive Susies and have sensitive ears and eyeballs, some of the comments on the videos I post, woof, they're not G-rated. But at RichQ on the mic, very easy to get a hold of. And again, we're on SR 1029 FM The Game, part of the Odyssey app family, Kicks, Rumble, Millions, and the YouTube channel. All right. You guys are you guys are warriors on a Saturday. I got to go make some more fresh roasted coffee. All right. You guys all play nice. Subscribe to the channel. Listen, if she drops 50 tonight, we're coming back on the air tomorrow, if she plays. We might, maybe, even though the World Cup is tomorrow, and I wanted to kind of give myself, I've done 28 straight days of content on the air. If something crazy happens tomorrow or tonight, and if she does drop that 50, if she plays, we'll figure something out. But definitely subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. As always, I'm Rich Quinones. This has been On Cue. We're powered by our good friends over at Fresh Roasted Coffee, Three Brooks Bourbon. Get ready with tea. Play it against sports. Also, SR 1029 FM The Game. Back Your Play, our gambling show. That's going to start airing in 2 weeks, and that'll be on WWON in New York. Like, comment, smashy hit. Subscribe to the channel. Keep the feedback coming. Greatly appreciate it. You guys are absolute beast. Unbelievable engagement, comments, and fantastic, man. Keep them coming. We will talk to you next time. Have a wonderful Sports Saturday. As always, be safe, be sound. Hasta luego, buen día.